happens as each floodgate. Back to you.
Thank you, Rebecca. And this is video from Spicewood Springs Road in Austin, leading to Bull Creek. I was actually out there a little bit earlier, and as you can imagine, the road is closed, and you can see there are multiple turnaround, don't drown signs up to warn people to stay away and to not drive into flooded roads, because a lot of people get swept away. They've already had rescues in various parts of central Texas this morning.
It's very important. We think that we know how deep it is, but oftentimes we're wrong. You get into it and by then it's too late. So whenever we deal with weather conditions like this, it's important to know which roads or crossings are not safe to drive on. ATXfloods.com updates every time a road closes. Right now there are more than 200 crossings closed in surrounding Austin area. Remember, turn around, don't drown. You can find the link to this page on our website, KVUE.com.
Okay, a little bit of breaking news to tell you about. I just got this updated for you. So here's the deal. Let's just all take a deep breath. The Llano River crested this morning at 39.9 feet. That's what's been causing all this trouble. Here's the breaking news. Because of a lot of water continuing to come in from upstream, we now think the Llano River is going to go even higher starting later this evening, maybe as early as 8 p.m. So now the new forecast has the Llano River going even higher than what it was this morning, if you can believe that, to 40.1 feet. That would be within about a foot and a half from the record height, less than a foot and a half. So right now the Llano River at 31.3 feet. Above flood stage by 21.3 feet. And again, the forecast has this going even higher than what it was this morning. So take a look at the graph. This is from the National Weather Service, and this shows you that dramatic rise that we had early this morning with that water moving through Llano and then moved downstream to Kingsland and Granite Shoals, and eventually now making its way to Marble Falls and Lake Travis. And even though it's been coming down a little bit, it's going to be going back up. And again, it could be even higher. The Llano River height could be even higher than this morning, this evening. It's incredible to report that, but that's the latest forecast just in as it gets to about 40.1 feet here as early as 8 o'clock. And it's going to stay in major flood stage here in this purple area through probably tomorrow evening, and may stay in flood stage until sometime Thursday, maybe late in the day on Thursday. So I just wanted to share the breaking news information about that. Okay, so Lake Travis at 99% full. It's going to be 100% full any minute now as soon as we get a refresh on this. It's less than a foot away from it. It's at 680.39. Once it gets to 681, it's 100% full, 92% full at Lake Buchanan, and that's also up. So Lake Travis since midnight is up now, 11 feet. It's just incredible the amount of water that continues to come on in, all courtesy of the Llano River. So let's kind of break this down for you and kind of walk you through what's going on as far as the dam operations go and kind of where all this water is coming from. This is Lake Buchanan. And upstream of Lake Buchanan, there's been some rain, but not nearly as heavy as it's been along the Llano River. So there's no floodgate operations right now at Lake Buchanan. So this out here, here's Granite Shoals, right? This is going to be Lake LBJ. This is where we have a ton of water that comes in from the Llano River. So the Llano River spills into Lake LBJ, and that's why we have all 10 floodgates open at Wirtz Dam. So a tremendous amount of water, of that flood water, going downstream courtesy of Wirtz Dam into Lake Marble Falls, and from Lake Marble Falls into Lake Travis. So at Starkey Dam, you saw some live pictures just a few minutes ago, all 10 floodgates are open, and that flood water continues downstream into Lake Travis, and that's why Lake Travis has seen that incredible rise. When we started on TV earlier this morning, we were looking at 83% full at Lake Travis, now approaching 100% full. And because at 681 feet, the lowest spots around the Lake Travis area, forgetting the name already, Cemetery Point, that area is going to get water around it. So Mansfield Dam has gates open right now, and Graveyard Point, I'm sorry, it's starting to turn into a long day. Graveyard Point is starting to see some water getting close to it as that number at Lake Travis gets to 681 feet. So 4 floodgates open possible between now and 6 o'clock. I think that's becoming more and more likely, especially now that we expect the Llano River at Llano to go even higher than it was this morning. And all of that water makes it closer to Austin, here along Lake Austin, to Tom Miller Dam. And this is where Jason Michael is. Tom Miller Dam has gate operations open with water flowing into Lady Bird Lake. So what can you expect along Lake Austin and Lady Bird Lake? Faster moving, higher water, and you just want to stay away from Lady Bird Lake, Lake Austin, and all the lakes, as a matter of fact. It's just too dangerous out there. So 40s and 50s out there right now. The best news that I have is the radar is not nearly as active now than it has been really all day. There's still a few little light showers, and we're still looking at residual issues from last night and earlier this morning when it comes to, in particular, low water crossings. Still several roads that are waterlogged, impassable because of flooding in the hill country. So travel discouraged across Llano and Mason and Gillespie County, even portions of Burnett County. This is a flash flood warning in effect until at least 3:30, so another 15 minutes or so, but we'll see if that gets extended. I think this is going to get extended. This is a flash flood watch at this point until 7 p.m. for the hill country. That will likely go into tomorrow, if not into Thursday or Friday, because rain is in the forecast. And let's talk about that with the hour-by-hour forecast. The good news is we're not going to see a whole lot of heavy rain tonight. But that being said, even if you get some light to moderate showers out here in the hill country overnight into tomorrow morning, like the future radar is suggesting, an additional 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch is a big deal. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have swollen rivers, swollen creeks, you've got 100% saturated soil, even a 1/4 inch is a problem. So we may even have some flash flood warnings in the overnight just because of some light rain. Here in Austin, don't expect a lot by tomorrow morning, but look at tomorrow afternoon. A few more showers, tomorrow evening showers, maybe even some thunderstorms. And this heavy action headed, unfortunately, into a saturated area. So additional flash flood concerns west of Austin tomorrow evening, especially in the hill country. And then another disturbance comes in on Thursday, and look at this, more rain on Thursday. So how much more rain are we talking about? And I think over the next couple of days, this is a little bit of a conservative forecast, but it gives you the idea, an additional 1 to 2 inches of rainfall from Austin eastward. But where we don't need it, an additional 2 to 3 inches of rainfall is possible as we round out the rest of the week. There's a live look outside. We've got raindrops on the camera, but nothing all that heavy. We'll put the rain chance tonight at 40%, the low temperature at 50. It's in the 40s now, so the temperature is going to go up between now and the overnight hours, and we'll be in the 50s for tomorrow for highs. Best chance of rain tomorrow will be in the afternoon and evening, coming in from the southeast, and some heavy pockets of rain could trigger flash flooding tomorrow, the high temperature at 55. Let's look at the allergy count. No pollen, just mold in the low count. So I have a brand new 7-day forecast. Just put this together during our little 2 o'clock break for you. Best chance of rain tomorrow afternoon and evening at 60%. A chance of rain up to 70%, even some thunderstorms on Thursday, scattered rain on Friday. So there is a flash flood and river and creek flood risk Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and maybe even into Saturday with a 40% chance of showers. Sunday, 69 degrees. We start to see at least a drier weather pattern early next week. But the big story, Mike and Quita, is that, and I can't even believe we're reporting it, that the Llano River could go even higher than it was this morning, later this evening, up to around 40 feet. So it's going to be near, if not just above, the height it was around 7 a.m. this morning. And all that water will eventually make it into Lake Travis.
Incredible. And I know Lake Travis is almost full right now, so.
Yeah, I'm going to go check the number. It may be 100% full now, so I'll let you know here in a few minutes.
Long road ahead. All right, thanks Albert.
Okay.
So we've been gathering a lot of information from our different crews that we have out in the field, and this is video from Terry Gruca. It shows more debris, people's belongings just floating downstream between Granite Shoals and Kingsland. That's the area there.
The Granite Shoals Police Department still warning residents who can see the water or the lakefront to please evacuate now if you have not already left. Now these photos are from the police department. Granite Shoals just west of Marble Falls, and they say all area resources are stretched to the limit. So if you are safely away from low-lying areas, shelter in place, and if you are near or on the water, get out now. They also say unless you're evacuating, to please stay off the roads.
So if you are in Llano County, there are a few shelters there that are open for evacuees that you need to know about.
Now, we spoke with officials at the Llano County Office of Emergency Management, and they say the John Kuykendall Arena and Event Center and the Lutie Watkins Memorial United Methodist Church, they are both taking in evacuees. The addresses for those two locations are on your screen right now, and there's also a shelter open in Granite Shoals. That is at First Baptist Church at 505 South Phillips Ranch Road. There's also a shelter in Marble Falls. Now that has changed. It was the Marble Falls Middle School. That one has been closed. A new shelter has been established at the First Baptist Church in Marble Falls, and there is an overflow shelter located at the Burnett Community Center.
Meteorologist Jason Michael is live at the Tom Miller Dam with the latest on what's happening there.
Good afternoon, guys. Yeah, this is certainly a situation we've been watching very, very closely across South Central Texas. Lots of rainfall has been falling across areas out into hill country that is making its way down into Central Texas at this hour. We're live at the Tom Miller Dam, where earlier this afternoon they opened one floodgate. They've now opened 2 out of the 9 that they have here. And just the sheer sound of this water rushing down these floodgates right now, I want to stop and just let you hear the force of the water. It is certainly something to see here. As we near the rush hour this afternoon, we've already been seeing people drive on the Emmett Shelton Bridge, just slowing down just to take into the sights of what's happening here. And one of the things that we've been telling everyone is to stay indoors. Never drive into flooded roadways or into areas that could be flooded in a matter of minutes, in a matter of seconds. So this is something that we've been watching very closely here at the Tom Miller Dam. You can see some of those islands out there. Earlier this afternoon, we could see the beds, we could see the ground, we could see the rock, but now that is no more. Floodwaters have been moving over this area. Some of these trees have been now underwater here. You can see very few limbs still existent. You can see out there towards the western side here, where you can see where that walkway is going down into the water. That is now underwater as well. You can see some of those limbs there still underwater, and the tree trunks underwater as well. Now again, this water is coming from Lake Austin over the Tom Miller Dam, moving into Lady Bird Lake, where it's going to be going down into areas of downtown Austin along Lady Bird Lake there. We've already been alerted that some of the bike and hike trails have been closed, and they have been closed for the safety of Austonians. So we have to make sure that people within Austin and Central Texas are making sure that they stay out of these areas right now until this water passes safely through this area and gets out of South Central Texas. So you can see, again, Tom Miller Dam getting lots of water out of the 9 floodgates. 2 of them have been open. A couple minutes ago, I did hear some beeps indicating that maybe LCRA is getting ready to open a 3rd. So I'm still going to be on the lookout if that 3rd floodgate is going to be open. Earlier, Nathan Gogo and I got word from Claire Toomb about that. There could be a possibility for 4 floodgates to be open. As of right now, again, 2 have been open. Perhaps a 3rd could be open within the next hour. I'll keep a close eye on that. Again, if you're driving around here in Central Texas, maybe you want to take a look at sites of some of this floodwater, please do not do that. We urge you, please do not get into areas where they could be inundated with floodwaters. We are live at Tom Miller Dam. Jason Michael, KVUE News, back to you guys.
Okay.
All right, and you saw the force of that water, so much water, and Jason Michael said it's going to keep on coming on down. Yeah,
and they may open 4 floodgates before it's all said and done by 6 o'clock this evening. We want to turn back now to meteorologist Albert Ramon, and Albert is telling us he's been keeping a close eye on the level of Lake Travis. It's now 100% full. Give us some context to that and what that means.
Yep, so 100% full right now. It is at 681.15 feet. I'll get out of the way so you'll see. It's continuing to rise, and with even a lot more water coming in from the Llano River, that number is going to continue to go up, and that's why there are active floodgate dam operations right now in Mansfield Dam being released downstream to Lake Austin, and Lake Austin to Lady Bird Lake. You just saw Jason's live report. What separates Lake Austin and Lady Bird Lake is Tom Miller Dam. I was just crunching the numbers, and it's just incredible. Since midnight, Lake Travis is up nearly 13.5 feet. Just since midnight. Right now, Lake Buchanan at 92% full. The other big headline for this hour is the updated forecast on the Llano River at Llano. If you hadn't been watching all day, we did have the Llano River at Llano crest during the 7 a.m. hour at 39.9 feet. It has gone down since then, 31.3 feet, still in major flood stage, but because of even more water coming in from upstream, coming from the junction area, the new forecast has this to 40.1 feet. So we're now looking at the Llano River getting even higher than it was this morning. And we all know what happens when it goes that high, and we all know where that water goes, eventually to Lake Travis. So this is not a situation where things are going to improve really soon. It looks like they're going to get a little worse before they get better as we get even more water to move on in. So that's a look at the graph for you. You can see that rapid rise early this morning, and then it's coming down a little bit, and then it'll go back up as more water from upstream comes in, and will stay at major flood stage, it looks like here, until at least tomorrow afternoon, and probably will stay around flood stage, looks like now till Thursday night, and that's assuming we don't see any really heavy rainfall, but we certainly could. I want to show you the Llano River in Mason. Right now, the Llano River in Mason is in major flood stage at 31.5 feet and will stay in major flood stage, but this is the water that's headed to Llano. Also don't want to leave out our friends watching at Sandy Creek near Kingsland. You remain in moderate flood stage, but right now Sandy Creek is coming down slowly but surely, so there's some good news. This is a look at the Pedernales River at Johnson City in moderate flood stage right now at 16.5 feet, expected to go a little bit higher within the hour and a half to 17.5 feet before slowly coming down. And also for our friends watching in Williamson County, this is the San Gabriel River, the South Fork of the San Gabriel at Georgetown, right now at 12.82 feet. It did crest earlier today at 16.8 feet, so you can see how things are improving right now as that will be going down in the not so distant future. So I just want to kind of recap why we're on the air early and why we're blowing out programming right now. It's because of the dam operations, the water that continues to come on in, and the reason for that incredible rise at Lake Travis, it's not just this water coming in from the Llano into Lake LBJ into Lake Marble Falls, but you've got flood water coming in from Sandy Creek and also from Pedernales River. Both Sandy Creek and Pedernales River also with flood warnings, and although they're not the second highest in history like we're dealing with the Llano, that's still a significant amount of water that's going into Lake Travis, allowing for about a foot per hour rise. So right now, all 10 floodgates open at Wirtz Dam and Starkey Dam. Starkey Dam, the incredible pictures that we've seen all day today of all 10 of those floodgates and the water pushing into Lake Travis. Mansfield Dam, we've got floodgates open there, and as you just heard from Jason Michael, now 2 floodgates open at Tom Miller Dam. So expect a faster moving, a little bit higher, and just overall a rougher lake at both Lake Austin and then downstream to Lady Bird Lake, and all this water will eventually make its way through the Colorado River to Bastrop, Smithfield, LaGrange. We don't have any warnings for you downstream as this water is kind of being slowly let down to the southeast, and eventually, maybe as early as tomorrow evening, this water will end up in Matagorda Bay and eventually into the Gulf of Mexico. The good news is we're looking at a pretty quiet radar right now. It's 48 degrees right now in Georgetown. Camp Mabry not reporting right now, but we're in the upper 40s right now over most of Austin. So juggling a lot of balls today as far as lake levels and as far as the Llano River. That's the big story. The Llano River, the second highest crest in history. It's only been higher one other time. Actually, if you just stay on graphics, I'll pull up this graphic for you. Well, I'll get it here in the next update. But anyway, the last time the river was that high, and will be a little bit higher here this evening, last time was June of 1935. So not quite first place, but it's a brand new second place, the highest the river has been, the second highest the river's been at Llano, and all that water's headed downstream. Let's send it back to the anchor desk with Quita and Mike with a little bit more information.
Large debris going over the edge of the Starkey Dam.
It looks like a deck that's just going. And a possible piece of the 2900 bridge floating down the river. Incredible video and pictures we've been getting from all across central Texas this morning, and we've been watching the Starkey Dam all day. A
lot of destruction out there for sure. Look at this. This is what appears to be a deck going over the edge of the Starkey Dam earlier today, decimated once it reaches the bottom there. Digital meteorologist Andrew Wilson is live near the dam. And Andrew, tell us what's happening out there right now.
Yeah, we watched that deck go over live right here at the Starkey Dam. Now, we were a little bit up higher earlier on. Now we've backed off to a little bit further up the dam from the top of the dam instead of further down looking to the lower part of it. But I'll tell you what, one thing that hasn't changed too much is that we have seen a lot of water go through here. It just continues to come. You think that at one point it would kind of level off and slow down a little bit. Well, that's not the case. There's still rain falling in the area, and that continues to add to the issues of flooding throughout this region. This water is going to continue to kind of once again make its way down to Lake Travis eventually. With it, you're going to find not just a lot of water, but a lot of debris as well. More recently, in the past about hour or two, we've seen some larger debris going down the dam here. We're talking about the sides of buildings. We're talking about roofs. We're talking about larger boats compared to what we saw earlier today. If you were watching us earlier on, just a few hours ago, I'd say closer on towards noon, 1 o'clock, the main things that we were seeing, yeah, we were seeing some smaller boats. We did see that large deck go over the edge earlier on today, but most of it was smaller things like kayaks, some tubes that you would just run off the back of a boat, and then of course smaller boats themselves and pieces of floating docks. But now we're kind of seeing some larger debris, and it kind of makes sense that it's broken up. There are more dams up the way, and some of this debris may have gone over some of those dams and broken up more, and more. So that just lets you know, yeah, we've got a lot of water, we've got a lot of debris, but a lot of this has actually already been broken up even by the time it gets to us. So there's been a lot of property loss today. Keep that in mind. Keep these people in your thoughts, because I'm not talking about hundreds of dollars in loss, thousands of dollars. This is probably going to end up being hundreds of thousands of dollars in loss. I've seen some big boats go over the edge here. I've seen a lot of pieces of property, and it's really unfortunate for this area. Once again, over 10 inches of rainfall in a short period of time. All that water goes down throughout the valleys and into the creeks and eventually ends up making its way down the river here, and a lot of people's property being brought down with it. We want to make sure that you stay safe as well. Not only your property, but yourself. Make sure that you stay in a safe spot throughout the rest of today and even into tonight. Meteorologist Albert Ramon said it best. It's going to continue to be an issue as we head throughout this evening. So please use caution if you're going to be out there as we head throughout the next few hours and into tonight and into tomorrow, because flooding will still be a concern. Do not drive across flooded areas. It's better to just turn around. If for some reason you can't make it home, try to find a place that you can go to instead if the road is blocked from flooding waters. We don't want anybody driving through that. You can't always tell how deep it is. Your car gets swept away, what are you gonna do? What if your car got swept away and you made your way down through here? That's the concern here. We wanna make sure everybody stays safe. Don't be trying to drive through flooded areas, and stay out of floodwaters yourself. There's nowhere to be around playing. So live here at the Starkey Dam in Marble Falls, meteorologist Andrew Wilson with KVUE News.
Good advice, Andrew. Thank you. And in Llano County, officials are about to fill us in on the impact of the flooding.
And we know that impact has been substantial. Our own KVUE's Molly Oak has been out in Llano all morning long, and she's there waiting for a news conference to begin. And Molly, when is that going to happen?
Well, just about 30 minutes. That's going to start off, Quita, at 4 o'clock at the courthouse behind me. So anxiously waiting to hear from emergency officials to give us an update. Obviously, we've seen a lot of water come through Llano, Kingsland. We saw that bridge watch out earlier. So tons of water, tons of debris, boats, barges, lots of big branches, and water still coming through. The rain, we're getting a break here, thankfully, in Llano now, but that rain continually coming down all through the morning and afternoon did not do any favors for the area. That water is really high. We showed you the park earlier, how that water has just completely come up into the roundabout, into the areas, branches, rugs, parts of people's houses coming through. So definitely a lot of devastation already. Hopefully that the worst is over, but something that we're still waiting for is, I know a lot of citizens right now are worried about just how much water came down on the area because of how saturated the grounds are going to be. So now people are looking at potentially more down power lines, potentially down trees. Again, I keep mentioning this, but that atxfloods.com, that's a website you want to keep with you. That's on KVUE.com. We've got you on that links mentioned page. That's going to tell you all of the road closures that are happening in your area, so you know which ways you can get around. Of course, sounds like a broken record, but we keep saying turn around, don't drown. It's not worth it. Find another route, and that website can be your key. But of course, we're waiting for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes for this press conference to start. We'll have those live updates on KVUE. Quita and Mike.
Thank you, Molly. And Molly was saying, turn around and don't drown. Hey, very, very important to remember. This is video from Spicewood Springs Road in Austin leading to Bull Creek. I actually had to try and go through that getting here to the station today. Turn around, don't drown. First thing in your mind. Now that road is closed. You can see multiple turn around, don't drown signs up to warn people to stay away and to please not drive into floodwaters. I mean, that's something people definitely need to remember. There's already been some rescues across central Texas today.
Need to pay attention to those signs. They're there for a reason. Whenever we deal with the weather conditions like this, it's important to know which roads or crossings are not safe to drive on. ATXfloods.com updates every time a road closes, and right now there are more than 200 crossings that are closed in the surrounding Austin area. So you can find that link to this page on our website, KVUE.com. Here is an example of what could happen if you don't pay attention to those turn around, don't drown signs. This is a video from Llano County. This is just a few miles east of Marble Falls. On East Farm to Market Road 1431, a tow truck is working to remove the car from the flooded road. We have not had any reports of anyone injured in this, but the car looks like it was worked over by the water pretty well.
That's right, and we're getting reports as well that 1431 heading to Marble Falls has been closed, so be careful if you're going that way. And what you're seeing right now, that's some video from Cottonwood Shores. That's on the south side of the Colorado River, east of Horseshoe Bay. Look at all of that water and look at the debris. That looks like the top of a house or a shed going down river. And thank you so much to Rex Holloway for sending this into us. And if you are in Llano County, a few shelters are open for evacuees at the moment.
We spoke with officials at the Llano County Office of Emergency Management, and they say the John Kirkendall Arena and Event Center and the Watkins Memorial United Methodist Church are both taking in evacuees. The addresses for those two locations are on your screen, so if you need to go, they are open for you right now. There's also a shelter open in Granite Shoals and one in Meadow Lakes that is near Marble Falls. In Kingsland, the Kingsland Community Center posted on Facebook this morning that it is opening its doors to anyone who's been affected by flooding or had to evacuate from their homes. The center is on Rose Hill Drive. That's just off of 1431. And we've been telling you about this. We want to go, I'm sorry, there was a bridge I was going to tell you about, but first I understand we need to check back in with Albert Ramon before we do that. Hey, Albert, what's the latest?
Just watching that number, the lake level at Lake Travis tick on up now at 101. 101% full at Lake Travis, up over 13 feet since midnight. I'm going to walk to the key. No, I'm going to stay right here then. Okay, so that is up. The thing is, at about 100% full, we start to get issues on the lowest areas of the lake. So we do have some crews around Graveyard Point. That's one of the lowest spots right now. There is a flood pool. And basically what that means is still about 33 feet from the spillway. We don't expect that to happen. It's only gotten pretty close to the spillway back in the early 90s, and we don't expect that to happen. But either way, there's plenty of flood storage at Lake Travis. So just because that's 101% full, don't get the idea that there's going to be water going over the spillway. It's well away from that. But it's still going to cause issues for those that live around Lake Travis in those lowest spots. The other breaking story is the change in the Llano River at Llano forecast. The river crested this morning at 7 a.m. at 39.9 feet, the second highest crest in recorded history. The highest crest in history, June of 1935 at 41.5 feet. So we are expecting this to go back up because of water coming in from upstream. Junction, Mason, and that water arrives in Llano later this evening. Could be as high as 40.1 feet. And I can show this to you, what it would look like graphically right here. This is from the National Weather Service. And if you're got interest around the Llano River, if you live there and you've evacuated and you really want to see hour by hour how things are going, weather.gov/Austin. And I'll post this on my Twitter and Facebook page once I'm done with this update. But you can get this to update automatically. And basically what this is showing is that dramatic rise this morning to 39.9 feet. We've seen the river go down, still at major flood stage, but it is going back up this evening because of additional water coming in from upstream. As a matter of fact, could be even higher than this morning at 40.1 feet around 8 o'clock. And staying major flood stage as we roll through even tomorrow. Just an update here with the floodgate operations that are going on. No floodgate operations right now at Buchanan Dam. All 10 floodgates open at Wirtz Dam, letting water come from the Llano to Lake LBJ to Lake Marble Falls. And Starkey Dam, all 10 floodgates open there, with floodwaters going from Lake Marble Falls into Lake Travis, and now releasing water out of Mansfield Dam and Tom Miller Dam. Reports from our reporters out in the field that there are gates open, multiple gates open now at Mansfield Dam, and 2 floodgates open. Meteorologist Jason Michael reporting that at Tom Miller Dam. So expect Lake Austin as well as Lady Bird Lake to be moving a lot faster and will be a little bit higher than normal. Just stay away from Lady Bird Lake, stay away from also Lake Austin, stay away from all the lakes. Temperatures right now are in the 40s and 50s. The radar is pretty quiet across the area, but leftover issues from last night and earlier today has allowed for this flash flood warning to hang on. They have extended this flash flood warning. Look at that, for Gillespie and Llano County until 9:30. So 9:30, and no travel is advised out west in the Hill Country, in particular Mason, Llano, Gillespie, and portions of Burnett County, especially right along the Llano River. Here's a look at the flash flood watch. I think this is probably going to be extended as well. This flash flood watch is in effect until 7 p.m. And we may see not only that flash flood watch extended in time, but maybe in coverage because more rain is in the forecast. Over the last 48 hours, some spots of the Hill Country have seen upwards of a foot of rainfall out here in isolated portions right along the Llano River basin. So it doesn't take a whole lot more. I mean, a quarter, half inch can cause some issues. Let's break this down for you hour by hour. And again, the good news is we're not expecting really anything all that heavy here this evening. I mean, there will be a few passing showers. We're cloudy, and watch the temperatures start to come up. Even in the overnight, the temperatures start to go up back into the 50s. We will have some rain around early tomorrow morning. And even though this is light to moderate pockets of rainfall in the Hill Country, as we mentioned, creeks and rivers are swollen. We are super saturated, 100% saturated when it comes to soil out west, and even a quarter to a half inch could cause additional flash flood concerns. So we're really going to keep an eye on that. I think overall the best chance for the heaviest activity tomorrow will be in the evening. This is a look at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, with some showers coming in from the south. This is 8:30 tomorrow evening with some heavier action over the I-35 corridor and moving off towards the west. That activity could even increase the flash flood threat and aggravate the river flood threat as well. Thursday, a disturbance will move through the area. In the last couple of days, we've been talking about how Thursday is our next kind of best opportunity for widespread rainfall, and there you see it. Morning into the afternoon hours, rain coming in from the southeast, and some of this could be heavy at times with some thunder and lightning, and that could provoke additional flash flooding, additional creek and river flooding issues. So, you know, things are going to stay pretty dangerous the next couple of days. You just want to keep an eye on yourself and neighbors. And if you're in a dry spot, if you're in an area, if you're in a neighborhood that is safe and away from the river and you're in high ground, you're good. You know what I mean? Just take it easy on the roadway. There'll be hydroplaning, there'll be ponding, but the main concern is going to be folks that you know, their lives are right there along the river, and you may not be able to go back to your home for a couple of days because of additional rain in the forecast. As a matter of fact, another 1 to 2 inches of rainfall possible just this week from Austin eastward. But Hill Country, where we definitely don't need any more rainfall over the next few days, 2 to 3 additional inches of rainfall, and some spots could even see a little bit more than that. We got some light rain over Austin right now, but nothing all that heavy. There are no active watches, warnings, or advisories for the city of Austin. Our main concern here in Austin is going to be Lady Bird Lake, which is going to be moving faster, moving higher. We're going to try to get some live pictures from Lady Bird Lake, hopefully soon, because it'd be interesting to see what it looks like. Actually, when I'm done with this, I'm going to turn this camera around and zoom in to the Lady Bird Lake. So we'll have that in a couple of seconds. Cloudy, 50 degrees for tonight. The rain chance at 40%. So nothing widespread and nothing all that heavy, but a quarter, half inch out west in the Hill Country may cause some problems. Best chance for a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow will be late afternoon into the evening hours. We'll have a lot of clouds, but at least we get out of the 40s. We'll be in the mid-50s for tomorrow afternoon. All this rain washes out the pollen, so you don't have to worry about that. Just some mold. Your allergy forecast found every single day in the Austin American-Statesman. So flash flooding, river flooding tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, possibly Friday into Saturday. Even though these aren't huge numbers, any additional rainfall can cause some issues. So we got decent opportunities of either widespread rainfall like on Thursday or scattered rainfall Friday and Saturday to produce some issues here in central Texas, and then we start to see a little bit more of a drier weather pattern by early next week. Can't rule out some isolated showers, but as far as widespread heavy rainfall, just not something we're looking at right now. I'm going to turn that camera around. I'm going to update that lake level graphic, and I'll have an update for you in just a couple of minutes, but let's go back to Quita and Mike at the desk.
All right, thank you, Albert.
Travis County says the Butler Hike and Bike Trail along Lady Bird Lake is closed because of the rising water on the Colorado River.
KVUE's Luis De Leon is live near that trail. And Luis, what are you seeing down there right now?
Well, hey guys, so right now it is pitch quiet nearby us right now. We are standing just off of some of the hike and bike trails. We actually have some people coming through right now, but they have been closed off. It is heavily advised by the city to not go nearby the trails. You can see right here, these are the stones where you can usually, on any typical day really, come and observe the lake. And right down there, you know, Jenny Lee and I just got here about 20 minutes ago. You can't even see the bottom step. It is completely covered in water right now. And just as Albert was saying before, you can see the water here. I'm hoping you can see that water is moving very quickly. We understand that there have been some floodgate operations underway at the Tom Miller Dam and all the way down to the Mansfield Dam as well, causing this water to move very quickly right now. Like I said before, the city of Austin was here about 20 minutes ago, closing off both entrances. I'm going to turn the camera around again here so you can see that right over there. I'm not sure if you can see that cone or that red tape over there. It goes all the way across. You can see one person here walking his dog. It is advised that you do not come on to the trails right now. They are closed down. We're going to have more updates for you as the day goes forward. Now I'm going to turn the camera around again towards these stones. Like I said, this water is going to continue to rise. This water is moving very quickly, and really it took just about 20 minutes to cover up this bottom step. Like I said, probably got here about an hour ago before the city of Austin came and shut all of this down. Reporting live near Lady Bird Lake, Luis De Leon, KVUE.
Well, that's just a good example of how the water is rising. And then if you were to look out there right now, it doesn't look that bad. And, you know, there's a guy walking his dog. He's not supposed to be out there doing that. But, you know, it's only going to get worse. And so you have to close it down because it can become dangerous at that point.
Like Albert was saying, it's going to continue. We have more rain in the forecast, and the water just keeps coming downstream toward Austin. It's just best to stay away from all of the area waterways, the creeks, the lake, all of it.
That's right. Well, meanwhile, we've been watching the Starkey Dam all day long.
And let's take a look. This is some video of large debris going over the edge of Starkey Dam earlier today.
Digital meteorologist Andrew Wilson is live near the Starkey Dam. He's been updating us all day long on the conditions out there. What can you tell us now, Andrew?
Well, I can tell you, it's still a lot of water going over the dam. We've had a ton of rainfall out here, closer onto the hill country especially, as we made our way throughout this morning, and it's been a serious concern. We've seen a lot of large pieces of debris going down the river here. We've seen large boats, we've seen small boats, we've seen a ton of kayaks. A lot of kayaks, some paddle boards, as well as a lot of paddle boats, and then pieces of pier. A lot of pieces of floating pier that have been going down the river. We've seen them actually even close to where we're shooting some of this video. There's a floating dock that keeps going underwater and bobbing back up, and I imagine that's kind of the story that what's going on upstream. And our photographer Brian, can you actually get that? I think we got a jet ski that's actually coming down the river right here. That's been something that we've seen a lot of as well. We've seen a lot of kayaks. We've seen sides of buildings. We've seen pieces of people's floating docks, and we've seen a lot of jet skis. So a lot of value in these people's personal property that they're losing that's been going on down the river. It's been a serious concern. Once again, the property, you'll lose it. It's very unfortunate and sad, but once again, we also want to bring home the fact that you got to stay out of this flood water. Please do not try to drive through it. Want to make sure everybody stays safe. Looks like right now that's about to actually go over the edge, and yep, there it goes. That lets you know that's powerful. You look down here, you can't really see it as well from the angle that we're at now, but you look down there, you see the white water. That is a powerful thing. It's going to break up everything once it goes down there, and then it's just going to be in pieces by the time it makes it down towards Lake Travis. It's definitely not going to be in one piece anymore compared to what it was like up here. And actually, a lot of the stuff by the time it gets to us here at Starkey Dam, it's pretty much already broken up. because it's already made its way down a few other dams here further upstream, and of course in Marble Falls we're a little bit just kind of on the edge of Marble Falls here, closer on towards Starkey Dam. So a lot of water, a lot of debris, multiple reasons to stay out of the water. You know, it's not just the big rivers, it's the small creeks. It's the small creeks, it's the little waterways that may be running through your neighborhood, and you may look at it and you say, it's like 10, 15 feet to get across it, but you know, you may not be able to know how deep that water is. And then your car gets washed away into the water. Don't do it. Just stay out of the floodwaters and just stay safe. The best thing I can say to you right now is it's cold outside, it's wet. Stay inside where it's dry and warm. That's the best place where you can be right now unless you really have to be out. And if you have to be out, just make sure you stay out of the floodwaters. So live out here at Starkey Dam, I'm meteorologist Andrew Wilson with KVUE News.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. And I know we got some word a little bit earlier that officials from the Travis County Sheriff's Office were going door to door in certain neighborhoods along Lake Travis, telling people to get ready to evacuate. One of those neighborhoods, I believe, Graveyard Point.
Yeah, it's a serious situation when they're going door to door to make sure that you get out. And we do have a crew that's in that area right now to assess the situation and see if people are heeding the warning of the authorities there. Meanwhile, we want to turn back to Albert Ramon, who's been tracking the latest conditions, including Lake Travis, now 100% full. Albert.
Yeah, a couple of new updates since I just saw you just a couple of minutes ago. First things first, the flash flood watch for the Hill Country extended now till Thursday, 7 o'clock. So another 48 hours for that flash flood watch, because as we were just talking about, an additional quarter to a half inch may cause some issues. So here's a look. I turned that downtown camera to the south, and I've zoomed into the First Street Bridge, and if you look closely, you can see how Lady Bird Lake is running a little faster. It looks a little dirtier, and it's also a little bit higher, and this is going to be the trend for the rest of the evening, the overnight, and even into tomorrow. And this is only going to be moving a little bit faster as they open up more floodgates. Could see as many as 4 floodgates open at Mansfield Dam as early as 6 o'clock. So we'll keep an eye on that. And additional floodgates could open at Tom Miller Dam. Tom Miller Dam is the nearest dam to downtown Austin. It's just off towards the west of downtown. Right, you can see it sometimes right if you're on Redbud Lane area, and as well as Lake Austin Boulevard. So I wanted to show you that. Okay, new update here. Look at this, Mike. Mike said 100% full, 102% full now. This thing is going up a percentage. It feels like every 30 minutes. It's 681.9 feet. So this is going up 92% full at Lake Buchanan. This isn't going to go up a whole lot because most of the rain, the heaviest rain, has been south of Buchanan Dam. But let me show you why we are not expecting water to go on top of the spillway or anything like that, and why this is a controlled situation courtesy of the Lower Colorado River Authority. So right now we're 102% full, just above 681 feet. And at this point, the lowest spots start to really increase the water around Lake Travis, Graveyard Point, areas like that. But at Lake Travis, because Mansfield Dam is 33 feet higher than when it's full, they call this a flood pool. So we're not expecting anything like water going over the spillway. That's never happened in the history of Mansfield Dam, and we don't have a situation like that to occur. So plenty of storage to keep this flood water, as the Lower Colorado River Authority is thoughtfully, carefully trying to transport this water coming off the Llano River, transporting it through the series of lakes from Lake LBJ to Lake Marble Falls to Lake Travis, and then downstream from there. Here's the latest information, Llano River at Llano. These are brand new updated numbers as well. And last about 5 hours, the Llano River at Llano has been going down, but this is the first update in about 5 hours that I've seen it gone up. And that's going to be the trend now through the evening. Right now at 31.76 feet. Earlier this morning, the crest was at 39.9 feet, the highest it's been since the 1930s. The second highest it's ever been in recorded history. You got to go back to June of 1935 to see the river as high as it was this morning. And the breaking news to share with you at the top of the hour was that the Llano River will be even higher than this morning, 40.1 feet by as early as 8 o'clock this evening as additional rain and additional water upstream from the Llano Junction to Mason makes its way to Llano as we head towards the 8 o'clock hour. And all that water will continue to make its way towards Kingsland and Granite Shoals. The Llano River goes right into Lake LBJ, from Lake LBJ to Lake Marble Falls, from Lake Marble Falls to Lake Travis, from Lake Travis to Lake Austin to Lady Bird Lake, and then downstream the Colorado River to the Gulf Coast. So here's the latest statistics for you. They're just updated. Perfect. So you see that increase this morning, and at 7 a.m. it was right there at 39.9 feet. And then the last several hours it's been going down, still at major flood stage, but with additional water coming in from upstream, it goes even higher than this morning, 40.1 feet and 1.4 feet away from the record. Again, this is the record set back in 1935, June of 1935, 41.5 feet. And at this point, no record-setting height is expected, but my goodness, it's going to be really, really close. So no floodgate operations at Lake Buchanan. There's some good rain, though, upstream of Buchanan along the Colorado River north of Buchanan. So we're keeping an eye on that, but there's plenty of storage there. Water is moving in from the Llano River into here. This is Lake LBJ. Lake LBJ is rolling fast. It's a lot higher than normal, and the LCRA is trying to take that flood water from the Llano River and transport it downstream. So 10 floodgates open at Wirtz Dam. All that flood water from the Llano River and Lake LBJ then moves here into Lake Marble Falls. There's the city of Marble Falls, and you just saw Andrew's live shot from Starkey Dam. Starkey Dam is right here to the southeast of Marble Falls along the Colorado River, along Lake Marble Falls. 10 floodgates open, all floodgates open at Starkey Dam, and that flood water continues downstream to Lake Travis. So at Lake Travis, now 102% full. Water is being released by, I believe Christy said there's 2 floodgates now open at Mansfield Dam, and that water is moving through Lake Austin. So Lake Austin is going to be rolling fast, a little bit higher than normal, and that flood water makes it to Tom Miller Dam. This is where Jason Michael was reporting live. And Tom Miller Dam, we have 2 floodgates open. That water then makes it into Lady Bird Lake. We just showed you that live picture from Lady Bird Lake. And from there, it's Longhorn Dam. And then from there, it's the Colorado River to Bastrop to Smithfield to LaGrange, and then all the way down south to Matagorda Bay. We're getting a lesson on Highland Lakes today, aren't we? My goodness. So 40s and 50s out there right now. The best news is that there's not a whole lot of rain on the radar, and we'll look for about a 40% chance of showers in the overnight. Still could see some showers add up to a quarter to a half inch that may produce additional flash flood concerns, especially in the hill country. Best chance for showers and storms tomorrow will be late in the day, afternoon, and evening hours. 70% chance of rain for Thursday afternoon, 40% Friday and Saturday. And it's not going to take a lot more rainfall because of saturated soil, swollen creeks and rivers to cause additional river creek flooding, flash flooding. So we've got a flash flood risk at least through Saturday. So, wow, it's been a marathon today, and I don't want you to put your guard down. I don't want you to think that this is like the crescendo has happened and now we're, everything's getting better. No, we've got the river going higher this evening, so we're in, full alert for a while. So just be safe out there.
And when that river goes higher, that means that everything downstream will go higher again as well.
Yep, so we're going to see you saw those live pictures from Starkey Dam. I've never seen anything like that. It's going to be like that this evening, tonight, tomorrow. Wow. Yeah, incredible. And all 10 floodgates are open, so it's not like, well, we'll just continue to release more water. No, they're pushing water as much as they can right now. It's pretty incredible. I've been here 9 years, and I've never seen anything like this. I think we've got to go back to 2007, the Marble Falls rain bomb, to see something similar to this. Similar, but I think this is a bigger event. And again, the river, the last time it was around 39 feet, like it was this morning, was in 1997. But we're going to 40.1 feet by this evening at Llano, along the Llano River, and it's going to be pretty close to the record set back in 1935 of 41.5 feet.
And it is right now, I mean, even from what we've been seeing, it's been devastating.
It has. And Mike and I were talking a little bit earlier that we are just now starting to see the signs of this. We're just now seeing the property damage. When you see roofs floating by, that's someone's home. That's someone's property, that's someone's livelihood. We're just now seeing that, and I think as the hours roll on and as the days roll on, and we're able to get a helicopter in the air and get kind of a bigger perspective of what's happening, this is gonna shock a lot of you. We saw something similar to May 2015 floods. the Blanco River floods. That night, we were already seeing some devastating images, but it took a couple of days for us to get the big perspective, and that's the way this natural disaster is going to go.
Yeah.
And we're getting word now that a third floodgate is going to be opening.
At the Tom Miller, it's the Tom Miller Dam. The two were already open. Was that the location where Nathan and Jason were located today?
Yeah.
Yeah, at that, they had already opened two, and they were on a kind of a scheduled process to, at 4 o'clock, open up another one.
And
it's
we're
4 o'clock right now.
We're hearing that it just
open right now. So the game plan for that was that they were going to open 4 today at Tom Miller, and the fourth would be open 2 hours from now at 6 o'clock.
So I was just trying to load our tower camera that's focused in on Lady Bird Lake. So now with 3 floodgates open at Tom Miller Dam, the water's going to rush a little faster now, and the water's going to get a little bit higher, right through downtown. This is a live picture from Tom Miller Dam. This is courtesy of Jason Michael. Now 3 floodgates open. The first one opened right at noon, and then they opened up a second one after 1 o'clock, and now the third floodgate has opened, and between now and 6 p.m. there could be a 4th floodgate, and I think that's just based on how fast Lake Travis is going up, now 102% full. I think that's likely. So as they continue to release water from Mansfield Dam from Lake Travis, this is the water that goes down Lake Austin, and this is being released into Lady Bird Lake.
Okay, thanks.
Albert, thank you.
Now we have a press conference where authorities in Llano County are briefing us on what's going on there. We want to go to that press conference. Let's go ahead and go to it now live. They were scheduled at 4 o'clock.
That's right. Our own Molly Oak is at that press conference and has been keeping an eye on things there, and she will be bringing that to us.
As many have heard already, the Ranch Road 2900 bridge near Kingsland did collapse today due to rapid water. And the flood water, while right now it has been going down a bit, it is expected to rise again. So please keep that in mind. We have first responders who are active in our area, and we appreciate the work that they're doing. Want to make sure that people understand if your life is in danger, please call 911. Your safety is our primary concern. If you have a non-emergency, please call the Sheriff's Office. That number is 325-247-5767, and they will do their best to get to you as quickly as possible. Please stay aware of your surroundings at all times and monitor the situation around you and keep an eye out for flood water. Stay connected with your family and friends so that they know how you're doing, and be prepared to act quickly if the situation around you changes. These are just incumbent upon you to be safe. The county is requesting monetary donations at this time. That's primarily what we need to recover from this. The donations can be made through the Llano Chamber of Commerce with instructions that say Llano Flood. Those funds will be used to help the county with getting past this terrible situation down the road. Again, I want to thank the press for being here, and just tell people once again, just remember, turn around and don't drown. Thank you. Ron.
All right, you just heard a little bit from from Llano County officials talking about how things were going out there in Llano County with this devastating flooding that has just ravaged parts of central Texas at this hour. She was talking about if residents are in danger, you're asked to call 911, but if it's a non-emergency situation, you can call the Sheriff's Office, and they will get to you as quickly as possible.
Another point that she was making was that they're asking for monetary donations to get through this crisis. Let's go back to the press conference where we understand another official is is in progress speaking right now. I'm going to try to get that for you.
32 feet and 176,000 cubic feet a second. Sandy Creek also, which is down towards the little south of Kingsland in the Sandy Harbor and Sunrise Beach area, experienced some flooding in the morning hours. It had crested at 19 feet at about 10:30 this morning, and it is now down at around 14.5 feet. These flood waters are flowing from Llano, down the Llano River towards Lake LBJ. LCRA is moving that water through the Highland Lakes Dam system from Lake LBJ through Wirtz Dam into Lake Marble Falls, and from there to Lake Travis. And so they're moving as much of that water as possible. Beginning this morning, when we began evacuation operations, starting in the city of Llano and quickly moving east where we knew the water was going to the Kingsland, Sunrise Beach, Sandy Harbor, and all of the other areas, Horseshoe Bay communities along Lake LBJ. We evacuated roughly 105 people. We had a number of people take advantage of evacuation centers and shelters that we set up at various places in the county. Currently, we have a evacuation center set up in the city of Llano at the First Baptist Church, and in Kingsland at the Kingsland Community Center. Most of our efforts throughout the day have been spent in active search and rescue operations, and this involved swift water rescue. This involved deputies and first responders, firefighters, and specialists going out door to door to warn people, to remove them, and to rescue them from some fairly precarious situations. We're happy to report that we have had no fatalities and we have had no injuries as related to the flood. And our commendation goes to our first responders for the outstanding job they've done in handling that. I also want to point out that the impacts of this are going to be felt for a couple of days. So, as the judge said, we need to make sure that sorry. We want people to understand that they are not going to be able to return to their homes for some period of time, for maybe the next 24 to 36 hours, because the Llano River will be due to rise again in the overnight and early morning hours. That rise is expected to be perhaps at least as great and maybe even a little bit more than what we saw early this morning, meaning somewhere between 38 and 40 feet are the best estimates that we have right now. So even though the water is going down in some areas, it will go back up. So we ask that people please do not attempt to go back to homes if you've evacuated them, and please stay in shelters or stay with family or friends as you have them right now. We'll see you again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. right here. And thank you for coming. We thank you for supporting our efforts to get the message out to the public.
Can you spell your name for us?
Ron Anderson, R-O-N-A-N-D-E-R-S-O-N, and I'm the Llano County Emergency Management Coordinator.
And I know you said no questions, but for the people who can't, you're asking not to return to their homes yet. Are those still those people who are in that quarter mile of the river, or are there specific people?
Everyone who was evacuated today needs to remain evacuated. We'll have barricades up, and law enforcement will be patrolling the areas, not only to protect the homes that have been evacuated, but to ensure that people do not try to return to them, because it will be absolutely hazardous as the river, as I said, rises again to the same levels that it did this morning. Thank you.
And you were listening to the head coordinator of the Llano County Office of Emergency Management, Ron Anderson, and he was just telling all of us and giving a bit of an update on the situation in Llano, and now that the floodwaters are continuing to roll through. And basically, he said the impact from all of this is going to be felt for days. The situation is not over yet.
And he's encouraging people, or telling people rather, who were evacuated, had to evacuate their homes, to plan on staying elsewhere tonight, whether it's in a shelter or whether it's with relatives or friends, because it is not safe to go back to your home. Even if the water begins to recede for a bit, it may go back up, and it's just a dangerous situation. One important point that he did make, which is good news in all of this, is that there are no reports in Llano County of anybody having died or having been injured because of the flooding there. So that is good news.
And they also told us that so far they have evacuated about 105 people from communities along Lake LBJ. Those people are staying in shelters, or they have found other places to stay this evening. And they've spent the morning, the firefighters and the rescue workers, in active search and rescue operations, getting people out of rising water, going from door to door, making sure people were getting out of those homes. And of course, that's not going to stop now, because the water, as he was saying, will rise again.
And the significance is that the city of Llano, within Llano County, is really where all of this got started. That's where the Llano River began to swell because of the rain from yesterday that went on throughout the night, and then reached near historic levels of 39.9 feet high, the highest it's been since about 80 years or so. So from that problem there in Llano County, it's all kind of, it's all kind of fallen down throughout the water system, and that's why the dams are having to lift the floodgates, and why we are seeing flooding in many, many different areas outside of Llano County.
That's right, and I think a lot of people need to remember that, something happens up there, all of that water moves down the Highland Lakes chain and ends up here.
Yeah, it's got to end up in the Gulf of Mexico eventually, but that's a long trip. And in the meantime, we're all bearing the brunt of that from our for Lake Travis, which is now technically more than 100% full. I think at last check, Albert said it was about 102% full. Still is 102%, he just told me. So yeah, it's just very important to realize that, as Albert has kept stressing, that we don't want to relax at this point, because we have several more days of this as this water winds its way down.
That's right, and I know we've been keeping a very close eye on all of the dams around central Texas, including Mansfield Dam just north of Steiner Ranch.
KVUE's Christy Millward is at Mansfield Dam, where another gate was open. We're trying to keep track of all these dams and all these gates now. Are we at gate number 3 at the Mansfield Dam now, Christy?
Mike and Quita, that's correct. This is gate number 3. This just opened moments ago at 4 o'clock. Tons of people came down here. They're still here watching this water. Now I want to show you what this looks like, this third gate. So if you can see, there are 2 gates with the water rushing out there together. The one to the left is that third one that just opened at 4 o'clock. Now the first one to the right of that we saw open at noon, another one open at 2, and we are still expecting to see a 4th gate open today at 6 o'clock. Now I want to show you also just how rough this water is and how powerful it can be. To give you an idea of that, one gate can push out more than 2,000 cubic feet of water per second. Now 1 cubic foot is about 7 gallons, so that is a lot of water all at one moment. Now one man out here tells us that he is hearing of some damage at some docks on Lake Travis, and says all this water coming out into Lake Austin will surely damage some of those docks there. He actually helps build some of those docks and says they just probably can't withstand this kind of water pressure. Now several people have been out here all day, especially now that school has gotten out. Several people bringing their children out here to see this. They say it's just the power of nature. They wanted to see this because it is so rare. Some people saying this is their first time to ever see it. Many others saying that they come out every single time. They live close and they wanted to come out. Some people saying they've been watching the coverage all day and they wanted to come down and see this 4 o'clock gate open. So again, we are still waiting for this 4th gate to open at 6 o'clock. We of course will keep you updated on that, but LCRA tells us this is a dynamic situation and constantly changing depending on the rain and that water flowing into Lake Travis as to what they need to do with these gates here at Mansfield Dam. So of course we will keep you updated on this situation. Mike and Quita.
All right, Christy, we know you will. Thank you. Meteorologist Jason Michael is at the Tom Miller Dam right now with the latest on the situation there.
And Jason, how's it going out there?
Well, we're keeping a close eye, Mike and Quito, of what's happening right now. They did just open up that third floodgate at about 4 o'clock, so just about 15 minutes ago. And we just got a tip that they may be open a fourth floodgate at 6 p.m. tonight. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on that, so you can just see where this water is still gushing now that they've opened that third floodgate to relieve some of the pressure off this water. But can you imagine that the flow from this water is really inundating certain areas around here? We did point out earlier that were able to see some of the groundwork of some of these islands here just off of the Tom Miller Dam. That is no more. That is flooded right now. So the force of water going downstream into Lady Bird Lake will be something that certainly the hike and bike trails will be feeling. They will be covered. So we've already been alerted that they have been closed off, and that is certainly for the safety of the patrons here in Central Texas. So again, a third floodgate has been opened just about 15 minutes or so ago, and they're possibly going to open a fourth floodgate here at the Tom Miller Dam at about 6 p.m. this evening. So we're going to keep a close eye right now. We don't really see anybody venturing out. Earlier, I did see a couple people just kind of venturing out, kind of taking in the sights of things that are happening here. And sure, it is a sight to behold, but nevertheless, it is very dangerous. It's very precarious out here. So any sort of roadways within your neck of the woods in your area, make sure you avoid that. Turn around, don't drown. That is the National Weather Service is saying out there, and it is put into place for you to protect you and your loved ones in and across the area. So again, live here at the Tom Miller Dam, just about 15 minutes or so ago, they did open up that floodgate here at the dam to relieve some of that pressure coming off Lake Austin, now moving it to Lady Bird Lake. The force of the water will be felt along banks downstream from the Tom Miller Dam into Lady Bird Lake. Some of those hike and bike trails we've been talking about have been closed. There is possibility, we do think that LCRA is going to open up a fourth floodgate out of the 9 that they have here in just about an hour and 45 minutes, so roughly around 6 p.m. tonight. When we get that message, if we hear something that is alerting us that it could be opened earlier, we will certainly let you guys know. But for now, live here at LCRA and the Tom Miller Dam, I'm Jason Michael for KVUE News. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Jason. So as we are hearing about the more and more floodgates opening, he's talking about how it's going to affect our area, Lady Bird Lake and Lake Travis. So when, I mean, we're talking about a lot of water, when is a likely time period where our area would be safe and then people could get back out on the lakes? We're talking a few days, or?
Oh, it may be sometime next week. And here's the reason why. You've got a lot of water, Pedernales, Sandy Creek, Llano, right? A lot of debris that's coming on in. So they're not going to allow boaters to go into that kind of debris. That's number one. So that's going to take several days. But also, we may not see the Llano River in particular go below flood stage until Thursday night. And that's just assuming that, you know, rain chances behave themselves. We are expecting even more rainfall in the coming days. Earlier this week, we were looking at the camera from the Oasis, looking at Lake Travis. You could see those sometimes islands. No way. They are gone. Live picture here. This again from the Oasis looking over Lake Travis, Lakeway in the distance. Mansfield Dam, where we have multiple floodgates open, is going to be at the far left of your screen. You can barely see it. So this is Mansfield Dam Park right here, and that's Mansfield Dam. So 620 is just beyond that. Highs today only in the upper 40s and low 50s, just a wet and cloudy and cool day, and will be just a little bit warmer in the mid 50s for tomorrow. But here's the latest with lake levels. Now 102% full at Lake Travis, the high at 682.29 feet, and continuing to rise because you see all of that water that is coming in from the Llano to Lake LBJ to Lake Marble Falls into Lake Travis, and it's because this rapid rise, about 14 feet since midnight, is the reason why we're looking at those active floodgate operations at Mansfield Dam and then downstream to there towards Tom Miller Dam into Lady Bird Lake. I want to get you updated here with the Llano River at Llano. And we are within 5 minutes of getting a fresh update on this, but the latest update has the Llano River going back up. So earlier this morning at 7 a.m. we had the crest at the Llano location along the Llano River at 39.9 feet, and then it started to trend down, and that's what it did for several hours, but now it's going back up, not because there's rain right on top of it, right, because we've had a lot of rain upstream, Junction area to Mason, and all of that water is flowing downstream. So the forecast now has The Llano River at Llano going even higher than this morning, 40.1 feet, just 1.4 feet away from the record set back in 1935. So again, the big breaking news here is that the Llano River is going to go high once again. It's going to go up once again, even higher than what we had this morning, as early as 8 o'clock this evening. And we know what happens when it goes that high, and we know where the water goes. It goes downstream. So that's why it's going to be not tonight and maybe not even into tomorrow night that folks that have evacuated along the Llano River and that have evacuated from their homes around Kingsland and Granite Shoals, it's going to be a while before you get to go back home because of what's going on here. There is that rapid increase in height with the Llano River at Llano this morning. This is the highest it's been so far, 39.9 feet, second highest in history. And then it came down, and then again, more water coming in upstream is going to allow this to go even higher, 40.1 feet sometime this evening, and stay in major flood stage tonight and through tomorrow. May not go out of flood stage until Thursday night. Here's a look at the other update. That flash flood watch for the Hill Country has been extended now till Thursday evening for Burnett, Blanco, Gillespie, Llano, and Mason County. So there's a multi-pronged situation. We're monitoring the river flood situation, but at the same point, we're monitoring the low water crossing flash flood situation. So it's not going to take a lot more rainfall in the Hill Country to cause additional issues. We have active flash flood warnings right now out west, which we'll talk about in depth in just a second, but a quarter to a half inch could provoke additional flash flooding, and really even a half inch to 3/4 of an inch could cause additional river flooding. So here's a look at the temperatures. We've got a few spots that have made it into the low 50s. We're still hanging to 49 degrees in Austin, 48 in Georgetown. Doppler radar is pretty quiet. Unfortunately, really the most significant shower is passing through Llano County right now, and this shower is going to be passing over the Llano River momentarily, but quickly moving off towards the northeast. Llano and Gillespie County, including the communities of Llano and Fredericksburg, remain under this flash flood warning until 9:30 this evening because of multiple low water crossings that started closing last night, really yesterday evening. If you watched Nathan Gogo last night during the 10, he was talking about all the flash flooding going on, and that's just leftover issues that we continue here now. And again, 9:30 is when that flash flood warning will expire, and no travel out here towards the west. Travel highly discouraged in the Hill Country, Mason, Llano, Gillespie County, and of course right along the Llano River in southern areas of Burnett County. Hour by hour forecast, and we'll see that we'll have a couple of passing showers tonight, but notice it's not all that widespread tonight. By tomorrow morning, the best chance for showers will unfortunately be in the Hill Country. This is mainly light rain with occasional pockets of moderate showers. But as we mentioned, because of supersaturated soil and swollen rivers and creeks, it doesn't take a whole lot to aggravate the situation. So a quarter, half inch could cause some additional flash flooding concerns out west in the Hill Country tomorrow morning. We'll look for another wave of showers to increase late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. That's a look at 6 p.m. And you see the showers around as we head towards tomorrow evening at 8:30. And the disturbances in the forecast for Thursday. I don't think we'll have a lot of rain Thursday morning, but watch as we go through the afternoon and evening time, additional showers and storms will pop on up. So live look again at Lake Travis, where it's 102% full now. The chance for a shower or storm tonight at 40%. The low temperature at 50 degrees. The rain chance up to 60% for tomorrow, especially late in the day, afternoon and evening time. And it may not be all that heavy tomorrow. Even some light rain, though, could cause some issues. And the high temperature gets out of the 40s for the first time since Sunday. We're back up to 55 degrees. This is a look at future rainfall projections. This is showing over the next 7 days, but most of this is going to fall over the next 48 hours. So now through Thursday night, an additional 1 to 2 inches of rainfall from Austin eastward. So Austin to Bastrop to Giddings to LaGrange, but the heaviest totals expected in the Hill Country, where we definitely don't need it, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. And even though we're keeping a really close eye here, because this is our viewing area, Llano River goes out here towards Junction, and here's the Colorado River. That would be Lake Buchanan, but this is Colorado River right here. So even if you get 5+ inches of rainfall up here, that's going to find its way into Lake Buchanan. And Lake Buchanan's in good shape right now. It's at 93% full, but with additional rainfall, we'll keep an eye on that in the days to come. So this isn't something that's going to be wrapping up here tonight. This is something that's just going to be with us for the next several days. Quick check of the allergy count. No pollen, just mold, and your allergy forecast is found every day in the Austin American-Statesman. So, few passing showers tonight, few showers tomorrow. We'll put the rain chance at 60%, but again, nothing all that heavy tomorrow. Better chance of showers, even some thunderstorms Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. Scattered showers in the forecast for Friday and Saturday, so it's possible that we have a flash flood risk and a river flood risk through Saturday. So stay away from the rivers, stay away from the creeks. As we mentioned a little bit earlier here on KVUE, after the May floods of 2015, there were people that wanted to go out and experience whitewater rafting.
Lots of kayakers went out there and risked their lives. Yeah. And when you do that and you have to call for help, you're putting our first responders at risk as well.
So no confirmed deaths right now with what has happened over the last 12 hours, and let's keep it that way. So keep an eye on yourself and neighbors, and no risk taking. This is dangerous. Again, the Llano River hasn't been this high since the 1930s. It's the second highest height in history.
And you say no confirmed deaths from the flooding at this point, which is accurate. But we do want to pass along that the Granite County Sheriff's Office has reported that they did pull a body out of the Colorado River today at around noon. They have not identified the person who they pulled out, and they are not talking about the circumstances yet because they want to notify next of kin. So we'll just have to wait and see if this is flooding related, this particular death. So we'll keep you posted on that.
All right, thanks, Albert.
You got it.
We continue our coverage of the Hill Country flooding. Severe weather flooding across central Texas.
Here is a look at the ATX Floods website that we're going to get to in just a moment, but I think that this is going to be Spicewood Springs that we're looking at first. This is video that they have out there showing the road that is blocked off to Bull Creek. The road is closed. You can see that there were multiple turnaround, don't drown signs to warn people to stay away and not to drive on flooded roads. So that is always good advice not to do that.
All right. And we have been watching the Starkey Dam all day. So much water going through it.
And we've been showing you this video of debris going over the edge of the Starkey Dam. I think we've got our wires crossed a little bit because this is not the video that we're looking for, but we had video of what looked to be a deck going over Starkey Dam. We have digital meteorologist Andrew Wilson, who is live near the Starkey Dam. He's been filling us in all day on what's going on out there. And Andrew, still pretty rough behind you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of water that's been going over and a lot of debris as well. Now, you said that you may have missed the video there. It wouldn't take long to see more debris go over this right here. It's been a lot of it. We've seen a lot of kayaks, we've seen floating docks, we've seen large floating docks, even a double-decker dock that looked like it went over earlier on. We've seen pieces of buildings, people's property, things that they look forward to seeing every day. And it's been just going down the river right here. Once again, this is a serious flooding situation. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill, just a little bit of rainfall. It rained a lot this morning, over 10 inches in parts of the Hill Country, according to Chief Meteorologist Albert Ramon there. And the amount of rain is serious for this area. It's still raining out here. And we talk about all the water that's currently going through the dam. Well, it's still raining. More water being added to these rivers, and that's just going to continue to once again flow on down, continue to bring the issue of more debris, more property damage, and also it's a life-threatening flood. This isn't, once again, this is no minor situation. This is a life-threatening serious flood. A lot of water gathering on right here into the river. More areas to watch too, once again, the creeks along the river, and also maybe even just low-lying areas. This water is going to rise. It's going to back up into the creeks. It's going to back up into certain areas, and that's going to mean that we are going to have road closures across some spots. Here in Marble Falls, we have multiple roads that are closed. Anywhere near Johnson Park, anywhere near Lakeview Park, down by the water, there near the bridge, it's closed. It's closed for a reason. The water is across the road. That's the first thing that we saw when we arrived in Marble Falls this morning, is that officials had closed down those roads. They showed us that the speed limit signs, the water was already up and even over them. Very high water causing damage, and once again, officials are out here trying to keep you safe. They don't want you going across the water. If you come across the road, that isn't yet barricaded or has blockage for it to make sure that you don't drive across it, just don't do it. Just turn around, stay away from flooded areas. We want to make sure that everyone stays safe. It's not just saving your life, it's also saving officials' lives. Think about the people who may have to save you if you end up swept away into the water. Those people want to be able to head home to their families as well later on today. So once again, a lot of water. If I turn around, just kind of show you, you see the amount of water kind of going down the river here. It's about to go right through the Starkey Dam and then continue its way down. Down below the dam, it's whitewash. It's a mess. It's very dirty water. It's very, very rough. There's debris that has actually gathered on the near side of the dam down towards the lower end of it. We can't see it from here, but down there you'd see a lot of kayaks, you'd see a lot of broken up pieces of pier and people's boats, a lot of jet skis we've seen gone over today, and that just continues to be the issue out here at Starkey Dam and really throughout Marble Falls and areas anywhere along the Llano River. It has been a day of serious flooding, and we're going to continue to monitor that here as we head throughout the next few hours, throughout tonight, and possibly even into the next couple of days as far as the flooding concern is there. And then, of course, with all the debris in the water, stay out of the water once again. We'll continue to keep you updated out here at Marble Falls. Andrew Wilson, KVUE News.
All right, Andrew, thank you. And Andrew was talking about staying out of the water. That means don't go in it with a boat, don't get in it, and please don't try and drive through low water crossings.
Listen to this. This is along those lines. So in Leander ISD reports to us that a bus driver there has been fired and has been arrested for driving in a low water crossing on County Road 177. He was heading east from Ronald Reagan Boulevard toward County Road 175, and he went around a barricade, and they had to make a water rescue. He had one student inside with him.
Yeah, and
so
they both had to be rescued.
Fortunately, the student is okay. The driver, the ex-driver, is okay as well. Is in a fair amount of trouble, but is physically okay. But to think that someone would try that in their own vehicle, much less in a school bus with a student on board, it just makes you wonder what people are thinking sometimes, why you would even take that chance. So just another warning that this is serious business, and that you put not only the people in your vehicle, yourself, and then anyone else who's got to come and try to rescue in harm's way when you do that. So
that's right.
All right, so you have some new information, Albert?
I do. So this is kind of important. We are getting word from the LCRA that floodgate operations will begin later tonight, if not early tomorrow, for Lake Buchanan. So I can show you this full screen. We had been talking about the flood warning for the Colorado River north of Lake Buchanan. Well, that water is moving downstream. Lake Buchanan at about 93% full. And again, floodgate operations expected to start later tonight, if not early tomorrow morning. And that water, Quita and Mike, goes downstream. That makes its way into Inks Lake, and then Lake LBJ, and then Lake Marble Falls, and then eventually into Lake Travis. And with dam operations going on at Mansfield Dam, that makes its way into Lake Austin. And with dam operations going on at Tom Miller Dam, that makes its way into Lady Bird Lake. So not a great situation with, again, floodgate operations expected to start at Buchanan Dam later tonight or early tomorrow. Right now, all 10 floodgates are open at Wirtz Dam and also at Starkey Dam. That's the water that we're trying to transport out of the Llano River into Lake LBJ, from Lake LBJ to Lake Marble Falls, from Lake Marble Falls beyond Starkey Dam to Lake Travis. And Lake Travis, we have ongoing floodgate operations. Christy said 2 or 3 floodgates now at Mansfield. 2, right? Is that what she said in her last report?
I believe it was 3. And
3 now. Wow.
At 6.
Wow. Okay. So water going out of Mansfield Dam, out of Lake Travis to Lake Austin, and we've got 3, according to Jason Michael, at Tom Miller Dam, from Lake Austin into Lady Bird Lake. Let me show you the latest numbers. Lake Travis now 103% full. When I first got on the air during the 6 a.m. hour, it was at 83% full. So we're seeing a 14-foot rise just since midnight at Lake Travis, and with more water coming in via the Colorado River north of Lake Buchanan, via the Llano River, especially here later tonight, and also from Sandy Creek and the Pedernales River, that number is going to go even higher. But there's plenty of storage. There's 30 23 feet of that flood storage at Lake Travis. Not great news for the lowest spots around Lake Travis, like Graveyard Point. There's a look at our live camera, the Oasis at Lake Travis, and earlier, late last week, we had sometimes islands. Remember those? Were popping up. Not anymore now that the lake is 103% full. Here's a look at the latest, the Llano River at Llano, and I'm going to get some new numbers on this here in just a moment. Llano River at major flood stage. 39.9 feet. That was its crest earlier today at 7 a.m. It has come down, but it's now going back up as additional rain, additional water comes in from the west, comes in upstream, and by later this evening, maybe as early as 8 o'clock, the Llano River at Llano could be even higher than this morning, up to 40.1 feet, and that water will make its way downstream by way of Lake LBJ, Lake Marble Falls, Lake Travis, and eventually downstream to Lake Austin, Lady Bird Lake, and all the way into the Colorado River into Matagorda Bay. And there's the latest graph showing that dramatic increase in height with the river this morning, coming down a bit this afternoon, but going right back up, and that is starting right now. So I'll update these numbers for you and come back with another update, show you the radar as well. We get a break from the heavy rainfall. That's the good news tonight, tomorrow, but additional showers in the forecast on Thursday. Any more rainfall, even a little bit, even a quarter of an inch, could cause issues out in the hill country. So we're on that flash flood watch for a couple of days now.
All right, Albert, thank you so much.
Got it.
Okay, and we continue our coverage with the flooding that is happening across central Texas today. And we're joined now by Dr. David Maidenment. He is a professor of civil engineering with the University of Texas. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it, David. Give us some perspective here. We've been talking about how this is the largest flooding on the Llano River in decades. The last one, the 1930s?
1939.
And tell us about the impact of that.
Well, this is a granddaddy flood. There's no question about it. It's a classic flood in the hill country. 276,000 cubic feet per second on the Llano River at Llano, and that's never been exceeded except this one time in 1939, ever since that point.
Well, the National Water Model, it's a prototype to actually track water. It was created right here in Austin. What is that model telling us about this particular event, this particular flood?
Well, we're tracking the water going down the Llano River, and the wonderful thing about the National Water Model is that you can just click on a river reach anywhere on any of these rivers and find out what the current flow and what the forecast is. And actually it's performing pretty well and accurately following what's going on the Llano River right now.
So the last time that we've had this, you just said, was in 1939. Mm-hmm. Well, times have changed a lot with population boom and things like that. So you have to wonder about the impact that all of this massive flooding in the hill country is having, not only on the hill country, but as it makes its way through the Austin area. What do you foresee there?
Yes, well, that's a good question. Travis County is getting more urbanized, about 2%. Every 5 years. In other words, 23, 25, 27% are urbanized in this area. So, and when this happens over Travis County, then we're going to get increased flows as a result of that urbanization.
So what do you see as far as, because it's very early right now because we're still right in the thick of all the flooding and the aftermath of this morning's initial round of flooding, but what do you see as far as, it's got a very destructive power, the amount of water that we're seeing here?
Definitely. This is far larger in flow than any flow that occurred during Hurricane Harvey. So in Harvey, the flows increased as you went east across the state, and the largest was in the Sabine River. But this is a much larger flow in the Llano River. This is a classic flash flood in the hill country.
Which unfortunately means that we should expect in the coming days to be reporting on a lot of property damage, damage to homes. We've seen a little bit of that now, but a lot of it in the days to come.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Well, whenever we deal with the weather situation and these conditions like this, it's important to know which roads or crossings are not safe to drive on. ATXfloods.com is a good resource. It updates every time a road closes. Right now, there are more than 140 crossings closed in the surrounding Austin area. So remember, as we say, turn around, don't drown. You can find the link to this page on our website, KVUE.com.
All right, so we've been keeping a close eye on all of the dams around Central Texas throughout this entire day. Mansfield Dam, just north of Steiner Ranch, is one of them.
KVUE's Christy Millward is at Mansfield Dam. where they opened up another gate just about 40 minutes ago. And are they on schedule still, Christy, to open up a fourth gate later on this evening?
Mike, that is still the plan right now, to open up that fourth gate at 6 o'clock. So again, already right now we have 3 gates open. I want to show you back here. You can see this water rushing out. That first gate opened at noon, the second at 2 o'clock, and that third just about 40 minutes ago at 4 o'clock. Now we've seen lots of people out here today coming out with their kids, with their families, some people on their lunch break to come see this. A lot of people saying this is really an interesting power of nature to see this water rushing out of these floodgates, and lots of people wanting to take photos, some people, you know, going live on Facebook, wanting to show their friends what all this is, because some people, you know, saying this is so rare. This is a once in a, you know, couple years chance to get to see this, and so they're wanting to see this and document it and really take photos. Now they also know a lot of this can cause destruction. We talked to one man who builds docks on Lake Austin. Now he says that he is sure a lot of this water, the strength of this water coming out, will ruin some of those docks there just because of the sheer power of this. Now we've also gotten a lot of questions from people out here, people tweeting and emailing us asking about the strength of this dam. I mean, we can see how powerful this water is, and so how can this dam really hold that water back, as well as some of that debris that's really going to be coming down the waterway. Now, according to LCRA, we just got an emailed response from them. They are fully confident in this dam system, and they say that they go through inspections on these dams regularly, so they are very confident in this. Now we are still waiting for that fourth and final gate to open up here at 6 o'clock. Again, 3 are already open. We will wait and of course bring you all the updates of that last gate here at 6 o'clock. Mike and Quita.
Thanks, Chrissy. Appreciate it. So, you know, a lot of our roadways are closed, about 140 in the Austin area that we've been talking about. This is video from Spicewood Springs Road in Austin leading to Bull Creek. The road is closed. Several signs saying turn around, don't drown. You need to make sure to heed the warning of those signs because it can be very dangerous. Stay away from them. Do not drive on flooded roads. The Granite Shoals Police Department is warning people there who can see the water or live lakefront to evacuate. They want you to get out because they're showing us these photos. The police department sent us these from Granite Shoals. It's just west of Marble Falls, and they're saying that all of their resources are stretched to the max. So if you're safe now and you're away from a low-lying area, they say just shelter in place, just stay there. Don't go out. Don't try to looky-loo at this particular point because there's nobody around who's able to help you. If you are near or on the water, you do need to get out in that case because that is dangerous for you. So they say that you do what you can to get out. If you're not evacuating, just stay off of the roads.
And all right, I know many of you have already heard about this. It happened earlier this morning. The RM 2900 bridge in Kingsland collapsed. The floodwaters came roaring through. It kept being hit by large pieces of debris, and basically it disintegrated. It was swept away by the water. And according to TxDOT, the floodwaters did wash it away at around 7 o'clock, around 7:30 this morning. And it is gone. I mean, just one example of how powerful that water really is.
Very, very strong, and also has the power, as we've been talking, to make people have to leave their homes, have to evacuate their homes, which we understand is very hard to do in situations like that, but it is the safest thing to do if authorities are telling you to get out. So in Llano County, if you are in that group of people told to get out, and I think at last count it was somewhere around 110 or so households in that area that they had told us about. They do have evacuees. They have a place for evacuees to go. They have shelters set up.
Right. Officials at the Llano County Office of Emergency Management, they say the John Kirkendall Arena and Event Center and the Ludi Watkins Memorial United Methodist Church, those are 2 places where evacuees can go. Now, the addresses for those 2 locations, you'll see them on your screen right there. There's also a shelter open in Granite Shoals, and there's one open in Meadow Lakes. That's near Marble Falls. And Terry Gruca is out in Marble Falls today. She was telling us that 1431 has been shut down. She says she's never heard of that happening, and it's really cut off a lot of people. So you know things are bad when that road is shut down.
Yeah, because that's a rarity for something like that to happen, she says. So.
And we've been watching all of the dams, as we were saying, across central Texas. Starkey Dam is one of them.
And to look at the activity that happened along the Starkey Dam today, we've seen this here before. This is a deck, but just so many different images of pieces of property going over that dam and just, you know, becoming decimated by that powerful water. We've got boats and things like that going over the edge there. Digital meteorologist Andrew Wilson has witnessed a lot of this happening near the Starkey Dam today, haven't you, Andrew?
Yeah, I have. I've seen some really large pieces of property go over the dam itself, and I've also seen some smaller things. Now, more recently, we haven't seen as much stuff out there. We have seen broken up pieces of wood and pieces of trees and things going over, but it hasn't been as much. Every once in a while, you see what could be a cooler or what could be a boat going over the edge, but not as much stuff as what we were seeing earlier, but still a lot of water and still a serious condition. All that's kind of telling us when we're seeing less stuff out there is probably that, well, most of the stuff has already kind of made its way over. That was the larger stuff that was kind of looser, but still, very dangerous situation. A lot of water out there. Looks like we have a piece of probably maybe even a tree down there. That's what's going to be going over here in just a moment. So once again, a lot of water, pretty serious situation. We have people's property right down here along the river where we can see these floating docks that have kind of flipped over and kind of barely holding on. And once again, more flooding expected for tonight. I mean, that's the story right now, is that even more is coming. So while the property may be tied down now, hopefully it stays tied down, but not saying that it couldn't break off maybe even into tomorrow or later on tonight. So once again, serious flooding all throughout the hill country. Please make sure that you stay out of that flood water and just try to stay inside, stay safe tonight. Out here at Marble Falls, it's not raining hard, but it's still coming down. So light drizzle falling right here in Marble Falls, and you really just want to see some blue sky by this point, but that's just not the case. Out here at Marble Falls at Starkey Dam, watching all the gates wide open at the moment, I'm Andrew Wilson with KVUE News.
All right, thank you, Andrew. And he was saying all of those floodgates out there are open, and we just got something from the LCRA. They're saying that flood operations at Buchanan Dam are set to start tonight or early tomorrow morning. The timing of the operations will be determined by the conditions downstream on Lakes LBJ and Marble Falls. And so I think with floodgates opening at Buchanan Dam, LCRA will have floodgates open at every single dam along the Highland Lakes.
And you have to put a lot of thought into how you open these gates, how many you open, and at what time you open them in conjunction with each other, because they have to all work with each other to try to get this water down to the Gulf of Mexico ultimately.
Exactly.
So just about 45 minutes ago or so, we heard from officials in Llano County, emergency management over there, and they have said a couple of things that caught my attention. One, people who were forced to evacuate their homes should stay away from their homes tonight because things are not going to get better anytime soon. But also, the good news is that nobody has been reported in Llano County, at least, as missing, dead, or hurt from this flooding event that we've had.
And that is good news in what's been a devastating day for that area out there. And KVUE's Molly Oak is live in Llano. And Molly, tell us what's going on out there right now.
Yeah, and like you all just said, that is the big news. No injuries, no deaths. Obviously, the great news from today, and they gave a special shout out to first responders for just the intense amount of workload that they've been put under throughout the day, what they'll probably be put under overnight and into the morning as well, because at last check, Ron Anderson, who's with emergency management over here, said that it had receded the Llano River to about 32 feet, but that's expected to rise back up. They said between 38 and 40 feet. Remember, early this morning, it came just under 40 feet, 39.96, he said. So just under that 40-foot mark, passing over the 97 flood height, but not quite record-breaking completely from back in the 1930s. However, it's about to get back up there again. So if you've been evacuated, they're asking you to stay out of your homes. If you're still in your home and you're safe there, stay there. They're asking you to stay away from the roads. That turnaround, don't drown that we keep saying, you're going to hear it again. It's not worth it. A lot of roads closed in the area. That's why we keep saying that atxfloods.com. We've got you linked up on KVUE. Great way to make sure you know which roads are closed in your area. But your best bet right now is to just stay inside. That's the safest place possible, of course, unless you are under that evacuation area, which is why first responders have been working so hard. Swift water rescues, making sure people are evacuated and reminding them to get out when they needed to get out. Of course, that river expected to come back up again. So they are reminding people that while a lot of folks want to check out the Llano River, which is just right down this street from me, you see that courthouse behind us where we had that presser. Another update from that presser hopefully coming tomorrow morning from emergency officials. So we'll be able to pass along some more information as well. But for now, those people who are heading out to the river just to check it out, they're asking you to stay a very, very safe distance back. They had that issue on the 2900 bridge as well. People wanting to get closer, getting those great pictures and the shots. Stay back. There's barricades there for a reason, and same with those roads as well. It's that turn around, don't drown that we keep saying, but we can't say it enough. We want to keep those injuries and those deaths at 0. That's the big number, and that is the good news so far today. For now, reporting live in Llano, Molly Oak, KVUE News.
Molly, thank you. And first responders have been out just combing the area all day since this began. And TxDOT has been out there as well, just going around looking for people, hoping to help as the water continues to cover roads around Austin.
We've got TxDOT spokesperson Chris Bishop joining us now on the phone. Chris, thank you for joining us. Give us an idea of what the situation is out there, the number of roads that are closed and the particularly treacherous spots out there right now.
Well, the number now is nowhere near what it was a bit earlier in the day, but it's still significant if you're trying to get through. A number of roads, Mason moving its way into Gillespie County, and of course those especially around Kingsland and then Burnett and Marble Falls and into Johnson City. And we're going to see more and more of this as water moves itself downstream. And we're going to have people watching for that to see how things change throughout the evening and then all the way through tomorrow.
And Chris, I know that you have probably quite a few extra TxDOT people out on the roads as well right now.
Well, we do have extra. We pulled people from our special crews group to help with our Llano maintenance section because of the impact in Llano County, especially around downtown Llano with state.
All right, it seems that we have lost Chris Bishop with TxDOT. And
we apologize for that. We're having some issues with his microphone. But let's head on over now to Albert Ramon. We understand that his microphone is A-OK, and he's here and ready to update us with the latest on the forecast.
Jinx my microphone now, Mike. All right, so we're going to spend about 8 minutes just chit-chatting about weather now through the top of the 5 o'clock news. Just kind of take our time. We're going to break down what's happening now, what we expect when it comes to the river forecast, and what we expect when it comes to the forecast in the days to come. So let's start. This is our camera from downtown, and what we have done is we've zoomed it in to the First Street Bridge. So if we were to zoom this out, top right of the screen, which would be the Long Center and Palmer Event Center. And the reason why I've zoomed in is because I want to show you how Lady Bird Lake is running a little bit faster than normal, and that's because of the dam release at Tom Miller Dam. And this will increase in speed and also in height as the hours go on, as they continue to open additional floodgates. So let me get you updated with the very latest. Lake levels now at 104% full at Lake Travis at 683.04 feet. Full is at 681 feet. So that is continuing to go up about a percentage an hour, it feels like. Lake Buchanan also on the increase at 93% full because of rainfall upstream along the Colorado River. And we are getting reports now that Lake Buchanan will begin flood operations there either late tonight or tomorrow at Buchanan Dam. So let's talk about Lake Travis for a moment. Again, we are just beyond full. It's about, again, 683 feet. full as 681 feet. And this is a bad situation for the lowest spots around Lake Travis, those spots that whenever we get 100% full, we seem to smile here in the city of Austin, but folks like at Graveyard Point, they're not so happy because water starts to get close to their homes and kind of surrounds their homes in some cases. But here's what we have at Mansfield Dam. It's called a flood pool. It's the only flood pool out of all of the Highland lakes, and the reason they have this in place is really to protect the city of Austin. This allows for an additional 787,000 acre-feet of capacity and doesn't have to force the LCRA to open up, several floodgates at Mansfield Dam. I think there's over 20 floodgates there. So we have plenty of room in the flood pool, and that's why they're going to try to slowly but surely take this flood water that originated from the Llano River and send it downstream. They're trying to do that as quickly but as safely as possible. So let me get you updated on current floodgate operations. And again, at Buchanan Dam, we expect flood operations to begin either later tonight or early tomorrow because of rainfall upstream along the Colorado River moving into Lake Buchanan. The problem with this is, where's that water going to go? Well, it's got to go through the chain of the Highland Lakes. It's going to find its way eventually into Lake Inks Lake, LBJ, Marble Falls, Lake Travis, Lake Austin, and Lady Bird Lake. So that's just more water into the system. All 10 floodgates are open at Wirtz Dam. That's transporting water from the Llano River to Lake LBJ and from Lake LBJ to Lake Marble Falls. And at Lake Marble Falls, Starkey Dam with all 10 floodgates open there. Those are those impressive live pictures that Andrew Wilson has been showing us all day. That water moves downstream and eventually finds its way into Lake Travis. And that's the reason why Lake Travis has had this incredible increase in height, now at 104% full. So we do have a couple of floodgates open at Mansfield Dam. The first floodgate opened at around noon, and they've opened, I believe, 2 more since then. And that water goes into Lake Austin from Lake Travis, and from Lake Austin to Tom Miller Dam. This is where meteorologist Jason Michael has been giving us some live pictures, and we've got floodgate operations happening at Tom Miller Dam, and that's why the water is running a little bit faster and a little bit higher right now than normal at Lady Bird Lake. And eventually that makes its way to Longhorn Dam and then the Colorado River east of Austin, Bastrop, Smithville, and LaGrange. Just a quick note for those that are watching me in Bastrop, Smithville, LaGrange. The river's going to go up some. It's going to move faster, but there are no warnings for you. Things can change, though, with additional rainfall, so definitely stay tuned to the forecast, but nothing to be concerned about east of Austin along the Colorado River at this point. West of Austin, though, that's where the problems continue. At 7 a.m. this morning, the Llano River at Llano made a crest at 39.9 feet, the second highest crest in recorded history, only second to June of 1935 when the river crested the 41.5 feet. The river has gone down this afternoon, but unfortunately because of additional floodwaters from upstream from Junction and Mason, it's going back up as we speak. The latest observation at 31.7 feet, and the forecast by this evening puts it just as high, if not higher, than what we had this morning, 40.1 feet. So again, all of that water impacting Llano, from Llano to Kingsland, Kingsland to Granite Shoals, Granite Shoals to Marble Falls, Marble Falls all the way downstream to Lake Travis, to Lake Austin, to Lady Bird Lake. So we've got a lot of water coming in from Colorado River, coming in from Llano, coming in from Sandy Creek, coming in from the Pedernales. Here's a look at the Llano River at Llano, kind of a graphical look, and this is an incredible rise this morning. This is why we started covering this during daybreak before the flood wave made it to Lake LBJ, and then it crested again at 7 a.m. at 39.9 feet. Came down a bit this afternoon, but is now going back up, and by 8 o'clock this evening, it'll be back up to 40.1 feet. Will remain in major flood stage through tomorrow and may stay in flood stage period through Thursday night. Flash flood watches in effect until Thursday evening for the hill country. Saturated soil, swollen rivers, swollen creeks. It's not going to take a whole lot more additional rainfall to cause issues. So Mason, Llano, Gillespie, Blanco, and Burnett County under that flash flood watch until 7 o'clock on Thursday. Austin is not included at this point, but that may change depending on just how much rain we see over the next couple of days. Temperatures are in the 40s across most of the area. We're drying out over most of the area. There is still some rain in Llano County, kind of passing right over the Llano River right now and moving off towards the northeast. A flash flood warning in effect since last night, since Nathan Gogo saw you at 10 o'clock. This continues for Gillespie and Llano County. It's not just river flooding, but it's low water crossing flooding. Still several roads here inundated with water and not passable because of flooded roadways. And also flash flood warning is included here for southern areas of Burnett County. Let me get you the latest information on this. This is going to be along the Llano River, but flash flood warning for Burnett County until it says 9:30. So 9:30 here this evening. Here's a check the hour-by-hour forecast. The good news is we won't really see a whole lot of heavy rainfall tonight, just a few passing showers. I'm putting the rain chance at 40% tonight. And even though the rain that we're expecting into tomorrow morning in the hill country will be, for the most part, light, a quarter of an inch to a half inch could provoke additional flash flooding and just aggravates the river and creek situation. So tomorrow's rain chance at 60%, mainly here in the late afternoon and early evening, and really nothing all that heavy tomorrow, mainly light rain. But again, any additional rainfall, especially west of Austin, may aggravate the flash flooding situation. We are concerned about Thursday because Thursday we'll get a disturbance to come out of the west, and that will allow for a little bit more scattered opportunities of showers and thunderstorms Thursday afternoon and the Thursday night. So again, live pictures here as we zoom into the First Street Bridge in downtown Austin. That is Lady Bird Lake. The water is rolling a little bit higher and a little bit faster, and as they continue to open up additional floodgates, we're going to see Lady Bird Lake get a little bit faster and get a little bit higher as the night goes on. So 40% chance of rain tonight, cloudy, 50 degrees, and then for tomorrow, 55, the chance of rain at 60%. Back here live in the Storm Center with Mr. Mike Rush. No, what am I doing here? Oh, KVUE News at 5. Starts right now.
Central Texas flooding, rescue crews helping people escape fast-moving water, and our crews across the area bringing you the very latest. All right, we want to start out and take a look at these pictures sent to us by one of our viewers. A school bus driver in Leander decided to try and cross a flooded section of County Road 177 in Williamson County. Police and firefighters had to rescue both the driver and a student on that bus. Leander ISD says police then arrested the driver and he was fired by the school district. And since then, all Leander buses have been rerouted away from that particular road.
You are looking at a live picture now from the Starkey Dam tonight. So far, one body has been recovered from the Colorado River in Burnett County. It is not confirmed just yet that this death is from today's flooding. People living along the Llano River have evacuated their homes. We have team coverage across Central Texas tonight. Crews spread out reporting the very latest on this severe flooding event that we've been experiencing, and the threat came early this morning. Albert Ramon has been here since 6 a.m. this morning, and it's important to know that even though the threat came early, the threat is still there. Yeah. We have a few factors in play here. One, the water is coming down from this morning, and two, we still have more rain in the forecast.
More rain in the forecast, and we're adding a lot of water downstream in the Colorado River Basin into Lake Travis. So get this, we've got water coming in from the Colorado River north of Lake Buchanan. We've got a lot of water coming in along the Llano River into the Highland Lakes. We got a lot of water coming in from Sandy Creek and also Pedernales River. So these are the latest numbers for you. Lake Travis now 104%. Earlier this morning, it was at about 83%, so we're looking at about a 15-foot rise just since midnight, and Lake Travis now at 683.04 feet. Full would be at 681 feet. So what does this mean? This means that the lowest areas around Lake Travis, including the Graveyard Point area, is going to be inundated by water, lake water, until they're able to release more water out of Mansfield Dam safely by way of Mansfield Dam and by way of Tom Miller Dam all the way downstream. The other breaking story that we have for you right up here at 5 o'clock is the Llano River at Llano. It made a crest this morning at 7 a.m. at 39.9 feet, the second highest height in recorded history, only second to June of 1935 when the river was at 41.5 feet. And the bad news about the Llano River at Llano, it's going back up. After coming down a bit, it could be just as high, if not higher, than what we had this morning. The forecast by 8 o'clock this evening at 40.1 feet, just 1.4 feet shy of that 1935 record. We are live across the area, including at Starkey Dam. That's where that Llano River water is making its way into Lake LBJ, Lake Marble Falls, and downstream into Lake Travis. That's where we find KVUE's Terry Gruca live in Marble Falls. Terry?
Albert, Lake Marble Falls and the Colorado River looks like a raging river at this hour. You've been watching the Starkey Dam, and that is just behind me here, but you can see the river is higher than I've seen it. I've been living out here now for several months, and a lot of people have been out here for years, including Missy Benzel, who is one of the constables out here. You've seen some incredible images today and some amazing rescues.
Yes, ma'am. We've had a lot of help from a lot of agencies, LCRA, DPS, Travis County, Lakeway PD's offered, Cottonwood Shores. I mean, everybody has pulled together and has made a real great team. We've saved lives today.
Can you talk about what happened in Cottonwood earlier today?
Yes, ma'am. The floodwaters actually swept away a house in Cottonwood Shores. Myself, Marble Falls PD, and Marble Falls Fire Department sat up at the bridge over 281 and guarded the bridge to make sure that that house didn't crash into the bridge. We dodged a bullet on that.
You've been out here for several years. Have you ever seen Lake Marble Falls or the river look like this around here?
No, ma'am. This is a first for a lot of us.
Yeah. I've been talking with a lot of folks who were out here in 2007 when we had the rain bomb. Active rescues, anything like that taking place right now in Marble Falls, or are people kind of heeding the warnings and staying off the roads?
Yes, ma'am. Everybody's been pretty good today. When we've asked them to go ahead and evacuate, everybody understood that we needed to go. Llano County, did you hear my radio going off? Sorry, Llano County is still doing rescues. There's a couple, but for the most part, it's finally calming down.
Great. Thank you for your work today. We appreciate all your efforts out here. I know it's challenging for the rescue crews and the constables and the sheriff's departments and the police departments to keep everyone safe in weather like this. I went down the river just a little bit in Kingsland earlier today, and those folks were surprised at how quickly the water rose earlier this morning.
About 10 years now. Been coming since 1972. My grandparents lived here.
Have you ever seen this area like this?
Never. We've seen the water up, but never like this. Hoping it doesn't get any higher, which they say it is, but then just trying to help neighbors around this little cove that we've got, trying to help them out.
Kingsland is about 66 miles from Austin. It's a really small town right on the Colorado River and Lake LBJ, and it kind of winds its way through the town there. So a lot of people have homes, even vacation cottages there along the lake. Most everyone was able to get out safely. That gentleman you just heard from, Doug, and his wife went and rescued a neighbor who was in a wheelchair as that water came up earlier today. They were grateful that they were able to get her out before that water continued to rise, and now they're trying to watch it as we go through the evening here. Andrew Wilson has been out here at Starkey Dam all day, and this is really incredible to see behind here. You've seen some amazing images today.
Yeah, we've seen some big stuff go over the dam right here. We saw a double-decker kind of raft, well, not a raft, a boat dock that went over the edge right here and just kind of broke up as it went down. You didn't see it again. Once it went over the dam, it was gone. And we've seen a lot of large boats, we've seen small boats, we've seen kayaks, and as it goes over, it pretty much disappears. There's a small area closer onto the edge right here where we've seen some of the stuff gather, but really most of it gone.
Shows you the real power of the water, right?
Oh yeah, very powerful and very scary at the same time. Just to see that stuff flow through and just disappear as it goes over the edge. And yeah, they're showing the video of the deck going over the edge, and that was it. You never saw it again. And it's just been it's been the true power of water behind us.
I talked with a gentleman who lived on this river, on the lake here, and he said all of his neighbors lost all of their boat docks today when this water rose. And it's no wonder when you see how high it is here.
Yeah, I mean, all the boat docks seem to be breaking off. Actually, kind of near where we are, we have a boat dock behind us that's barely hanging on. I think it's just got one chain that is holding on to, and it goes under the water, it comes back up, and it kind of bobs back and forth, and it'll disappear for a little bit, then pop back up. You see boat docks kind of along here, some that have still held together that are in this little cove kind of near us, but If they were right along the edge, they pretty much got washed away, it seems like.
Andrew, we appreciate all your help today. We know you've been out here a long time today, and it's wet and cold, and that's the other thing for a lot of folks who have been out here. Down in Kingsland, the 2900 bridge, which has been in that area for years. In fact, most of the folks that I spoke with said they don't remember it even flooding since 1997. It washed away today. Justin Cullison shared some video with us of that breaking apart in the river today. You know, Kingsland is just this small community, and so a lot of people, that's how they get in and out of the community. So their entrance in and out to check on their homes is now gone. We want to toss it over to Patrick, who is over in Granite Shoals, which is just upstream from Kingsland, and they have had some serious issues there today in Granite Shoals as well. Patrick?
Yeah, Terry, let me tell you, it took us 3 hours to get from Austin to Granite Shoals because several of these roads were flooded, and one of those roads in particular, there was a car stuck in the water. Thankfully, there was a tow truck and a fire department crew there to help get that car out, and we're hoping that the driver is doing okay. So when we finally got here to Lake LBJ, we met up with a lakefront homeowner. He led us onto his property. Right now, I'm standing in his backyard, and I want to show you what they're dealing with. This is supposed to be his backyard, by the way, but you can see that the boat dock is just covered with water. His name is Ken Ferguson. He says he's owned this lakefront property since 1998. He says this is the highest he's ever seen the water rise. He says he showed us around, and you can see that the water marks on the boat dock and around his house just show how high that water got. Just to give you an idea, he's also one of the lucky ones because he tells me he spoke to some of his neighbors, and they unfortunately got some water inside of their homes.
Folks out here so accustomed to constant level lakes, they don't tether their boats to their docks, and a lot of boats and jet skis, watercraft have floated downstream now.
And Terry, the Granite Shoals Police Department throughout the entire day has been asking people who live by the lake or who see water near their property to please evacuate as soon as possible. And some of those shelters that people can go to if you are one of those people is the First Baptist Church on Phillips Ranch Road. There's also another shelter at Marbles Falls Middle School. And we're going to toss it now to Christy Millward, who is live. Christy?
Hey Patrick, so we are seeing some of that power of that water right here at Mansfield Dam. Now I want to show you, I want to take a look back here. Right now there are 3 floodgates open. We're still waiting for the 4th and final one supposed to be for today. That is supposed to happen at 6 o'clock. Again, that's the plan for right now, but that could of course change as it continues to rain and we see those water levels change and the water flow downstream. Now I want you guys to really take a look at how powerful this water is as it is coming through these floodgates in Mansfield Dam. Now, one gate can push out more than 2,000 cubic feet of water per second, and 1 cubic foot is about 7 gallons, so that is a lot of water. Now, Mansfield Dam is the divider between Lake Travis and Lake Austin. One man who builds docks in the area tells us that he's already hearing about dock damage at some of the docks on Lake Travis. He says the docks on Lake Austin side, he is sure there is going to be some damage on those just because of how powerful this water is, and you can see just how rough that is happening. Now, there are also several people who've been coming out here all day to see these floodgates open and to see all of this happen. People saying they want to see this because it's rare. It's one of the first times they've ever seen it. People bringing out their children after school to be able to see this. We've also gotten a lot of questions from people about how strong this dam is and can it hold all this water and debris. So we actually want to go now to Jason Michael, who is at Tom Miller Dam. Jason, what are you seeing there?
Stand by. Hey guys, yeah, we're here at the Tom Miller Dam where we've been keeping a close eye on the developing things that's been happening here. Out of the 4 that we were initially talking about earlier this afternoon of opening here at the Tom Miller Dam, we now have 3 floodgates open here at the Tom Miller Dam where you can see that. And Daisy, I want you to see if you can zoom in here. You can see where that activity is happening right now. You can see where that 1 floodgate is kind of covered a little bit by the vegetation. Those 3 that you see there are the hydroelectric power floodgates that generate that power that we need here in Central Texas, specifically here in Austin. We did get tipped off by LCRA, a representative from LCRA, that a possible 4th floodgate would be opening around 6 p.m. this afternoon. But you can imagine the amount of energy that's coming off of Lake Austin over Tom Miller Dam into Lady Bird Lake must be getting on down through the downtown area here at Lady Bird Lake. So we haven't got any reports that is inundating downtown Austin per se, but certainly some of the hike and bike trails that we've been talking about could be inundated here. So just want to kind of paint the picture of Tom Miller Dam here. You can see that the dam does have about 9 floodgates here. 3 of them are open, a possible 4th that would be opening, and at 4 floodgates, that pushes about 15,200 cubic feet per second of water down over the dam. So we're going to keep a close eye on the development story happening here at Tom Miller Dam here in Lake Austin. But for now, I'm meteorologist Jason Michael for KVUE News. We'll toss it back over to Terry Gruca.
Jason, we appreciate your live report there. Again, we are back here at Starkey Dam, which is right on Lake Marble Falls, in between Lake Marble Falls and the Colorado River. And it is just an incredible scene out here. LCRA obviously monitoring the dam and making sure that things are safe here tonight. I think the one good thing in all of this is that most of the flooding that happened today during the day. So people heeded the warnings and got out of their homes before their homes were flooded. So we haven't heard of any deaths or anything in this area, but we do still have a lot of roads closed. In fact, 1431 is closed in 2 different spots in our area, one in Marble Falls and another in Kingsland. We're back with live coverage of the flooding event here in Central Texas after this.
Thomas J. Henry, we strive to provide the best client experience in the industry. If you've been injured, call Thomas J. Henry.
I'm Ted Cruz, and I approve this message.
Texas is booming. Jobs and wages are up. Ted Cruz is leading the fight for the Texas oil and gas industry.
Did it come back up?
Y'all talking about stuff over on the other side where it's in the wall?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Most of the stuff is shooting straight out over here, and you actually have a collection of some stuff like kayaks and pieces of dock right down here on the near side. And you can see that if you take that road off to the right over there, you can see it from up there.
Oh, from over there?
Yeah. So there's a road, and you can see it from up.
Where's Kaylin live?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Here, you take a right.
Yes, sir.
Right after the bridge.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we're going to get out of your filming zone. Yeah. Thank you a lot.
Not a problem. Y'all stay safe.
Yeah. The fingers are so cool.
Oh, there's a paddle board.
Yep. Oh. Board ready to go over.
Shauna, really? I'm live during the newscast.
Huh?
Hello? I know, I'm live in the newscast. I don't know if you know that. I can't hear you. I'm sorry, what? Okay. They're using our shot during the commercial break. Okay, so you need me to step out? Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you very much for telling me. I appreciate it. Okay, bye. I get a rundown.
Appreciate your help today, Brian.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being out here running this by myself. So I appreciate it.
I know. We were going live to Patrick.
And Ed, I appreciate your help too.
You know what? It's just.
Yeah. Hey, it's like seriously.
Well, and I can't see anything when I go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. It's better to just say the first name than to say the wrong last name. Operator left 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So.
What's stepping on? Oh, that's just regular bag. I don't know what that is up the river there. What is that? You see that? That looks like a paddle boat right there. But, or, you know, that actually could be the pontoon bottom of a floating dock.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, sounds good. Uh-huh. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, that was a good interview. Yeah.
Have you been out here for a while? No. Yeah. Have you lived in Marlboro for a while?
No, he's got the camera right there. Oh yeah. I'll go let him know for you.
Almost looks like a bed.
Man.
Like a bed frame and a headboard.
Oh, you're welcome to go across. I was gonna let her know that she can walk behind the camera. It wouldn't be a problem. Looks like a piece of a pier or a bridge.
Say again.
Oh, it's cold. It's so cold.
period, which is 10 feet, until Thursday night. So here's a look at the latest as far as dam operations go at Buchanan Dam. Flood operations, opening of floodgates is expected either later tonight or early tomorrow morning. Once this happens, all dams along the Highland Lake will have active operations. So Buchanan to Inks to Wirtz to Starkey to Mansfield to Tom Miller to Longhorn, and then southward from there. So let's talk about Wirtz and Starkey. All 10 floodgates have been open since really this morning. And all that water is being transported into Lake Travis, and that's why we're looking at Lake Travis now at 105% full. Mansfield Dam, we've got now a couple of gates open there. Tom Miller Dam, 3 gates open, 3 gates actually at Mansfield and Tom Miller, and expecting the 4th to open in just a matter of hours. Coming up, we'll break down the hour-by-hour forecast, how much more rain we're expecting, another wave of rainfall as we head towards Thursday, and also a look at what we can expect as far as temperatures. It's been chilly today with high temperatures only in the 40s and 50s. Your 7-day forecast coming up right after this.
7-day forecast sponsored by Subaru of Georgetown. Exceptional value and the Subaru of Georgetown difference. Free dent and interior protection, windshield repair, and loaner cars.
You may have seen some of these negative attack ads seeking to scare you about what we're trying to do for this state and our country at this critical moment. Now, we can be defined by our fears, or we can be known by our ambitions. I'm confident that when we see each other not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Texans, as Americans, as human beings, there's no stopping us. That's why I'm running to represent you and everyone in the state of Texas in the United States Senate. I'm Beto O'Rourke, and I approve this message.
Are you one of the millions of Americans suffering from chronic knee pain? Have you been told knee replacement surgery is your only option? Then call now to see if you qualify for a breakthrough, all-natural treatment for knee pain relief. By using an FDA-approved product that replenishes the lubricant in your joints, a cushioning layer is created, allowing you to move smoothly and pain-free. This treatment is covered by most insurance, including Medicare. Call now and get your mobility back.
Remember your first bike? No, your first real bike. So can you imagine the feeling you'll get from your first real truck? The GMC Sierra. Step up to GMC with nearly $11,200 total value on this specially equipped GMC Sierra SLT. We are professional grade GMC.
Tinkering with my '52 Chevy is a hobby for me, but for many it's a really good paying job. As the son of a steel worker and secretary, my parents taught me the value of hard work. So I expanded career tech programs for students who don't plan to attend a four-year college. Making sure kids have the skills needed for a good job is important for them and the Texas economy, and it's the right thing to do.
Re-elect Lieutenant Governor Dan.
I know. And one of the things that doesn't work in the satellite truck is the direct TV. One of the things that isn't working right now in that truck is the satellite television, so I can't watch. Oh, because of the something wrong. Because of the with the GPS. Oh well, maybe it is because of the heavy cloud cover, but I can't get a signal. Might be.
Hear that? That's 50,000 Texans. That's how many of us pick Texas Oncology every year.
Can you tell him we're up next?
Okay.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. We're up after this break. So will you give me time cues? You want me to do just a minute? What do you want? How long do you want me to talk? A minute?
There goes that pier that we've been watching all day. It's about to go. It broke off.
Yeah.
You really? Yep, there it is.
Okay, 45 seconds. Okay.
Finally broke off.
boat docks, houses. We've seen a lot of.
Unless it's still underwater right there.
Okay. Yep, perfect. Big tree limbs floating down the Lake Marble Falls and into the Colorado River. The rain is continuing to fall here, and so the big concern tonight is making sure people stay off the roads. Flooding is dangerous no matter what time of day, but it gets really dangerous at night when you can't see which roadways may be blocked. Okay, 20 out. Ten out. Okay. I'm Terry Gruca live in Marble Falls tonight, the scene of just an incredible scene really here on Lake Marble Falls, which is flowing into the Colorado River. We've seen boat docks, homes, all kinds of destruction floating down the lake and into the river as the rain continues to fall here. So the big concern tonight is keeping people off the roads, making sure that people are safe. Flooding is dangerous no matter what time of day it happens, but it's really dangerous at night when you can't tell which roads may be blocked. We'll continue to provide you live coverage here throughout the night on KVUE. Albert, I know a lot of people concerned that this rain is still falling here tonight. Thank you.
They just watched their pier break off and go over. They were just standing out there in that edge. The family that lives right there, that house. That one little pier that was barely hanging on down there that we were watching. Yeah. That's my kind of pier right there.
Okay, we're done for 5. I'm gonna go plug my phone in so that I still have battery power.
All right.
That's it.
Check, 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 check.
Working our calls, and you'll have to hit mute. So before you put it in your pocket. Thank you.
Drive wood as quick as possible so we don't feel like last time. We just have to stand over there. If you can find level ground, see if the shot works.
So you want us over here?
Yeah, I feel like that's a better background.
So you're gonna have me in this one too?
Ooh. All right. I can't. Can you hold this? I can't hold everything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here. Thank you. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh. Wow, what is that? Oh, that's the tree. Wow, that tree just got covered and then came back up. We're here live in Marble Falls at Starkey Dam. Where I will say the rain seems to have slowed down a little bit, which is good news, but I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah. Okay. Got you. Hey, I will tell you there is a camera on the mast if you guys needed a different picture. Just so you know. There's a mast cam with a picture if you need. God, it's cold out here. A mast cam on the satellite truck. I'm glad you guys are in that nice warm studio. It's freezing out here. And I have long johns on. Where you want me? Right here? I'll go wherever you want. Is it hard to, because all the cables around here? Less than a minute out.